Should be that we are live. Yep, we are live. Hey, there we go. Oh, I better turn myself down because I don't like hear my own voice back on YouTube. So here we go then. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the fourth round of the ARC ALMS series, coming to you live at this beautiful Spa-Francorchamps circuit. I am Savvy, as always, and joining me back at the booth yet again is my good friend, Mr. Jerry Bear. How are you doing today, Jerry?
Doing wonderful, man. How's your day going?
I've been sleeping a lot, actually. I don't know, Sundays are normally quite a lazy day for me when it's like in the afternoon. But other than that, you know, we've got some ARC, so, you know, I'm wide awake. And, yeah, should be a very fun race.
Yeah, Spa's always a fun race. We've got multi-class, going to be 4 classes all on the track together, so it's about to be a lot of fun. Yeah,
there will be. Before we will talk about the track and the races and all that, I'll just quickly go through the championship points, so to speak. So for the P1 classes, because they didn't race at Tsukuba last week. Oh, there's Robocopy saying hello, Savvy. Hello, Robo. So P1, the standings is oh, and Robo says hello, Jerry, as well, by the way.
Oh, what a sweetheart. Hello, Robo.
So the P1s, he didn't race at Tsukuba, so the points are still the same. Chucky's still leading at 41, Inman on 38, Rascal on 35, Kofi, co-commentator Jerry on 12, and the Bomber on 10. The PC class, though, Goofy leads the way on 38, then it's a Furious 2 on 33, Techno Guy on 30, but Techno Guy is not racing tonight because he is doing work shifting. He's doing like a 13-hour work shift, so sadly he's not going to be taking part in this race. Maryland 100, who was a very good debutant. Oh, so Dominguez is going very wide at Pouon. We'll have a look at another driver then. We'll look at Darth. Maryland, to me, I think, did he win? Maryland actually won that race because of, Goofy's problems, I think it was, that happened to him. Yeah, so Goofy equaled on points with Maryland on 22, Original J-Boy on 19, Why Not Sean on 12. In the GT class, they didn't race last week, but still 2 wins from 2 from Dominguez, followed by Cro-Magda on 38, Alex Gaiman on 32, Darth on 28, Antibiotic 22, Wiley 12, and Orloz on 10. And in the GTC class, it's quite close in that. Thunder Pig on 38, Fubar 33, GW Garnell, who's getting better and better as he's, you know, gaining more confidence over time. He sits third in the championship on 30, WR Metcalf on 24, the Baldy one on 22, and Slimmy Cam on 19. But it looks like I don't see WR Metcalf or Slimmy, so I don't think we're going to have a lot of GTC races in there. But we do have a new GTC racer in this one. Is this guy, Zanzibar. He just recently passed the rookie test, and that's a very striking blue livery for him. So, you know, we do like to welcome all newcomers into this. You know, they're more than welcome to join, and Zanzibar is going to have a go in this championship.
Absolutely, yeah. It'll be exciting to see the new guy out there and see what all he can do. I know that BMW is a little understeer heavy, which if you've ever driven around Spa, understeer is usually about the worst type of steer you can get here. So it'll be interesting to see how they can really, you know, finagle those cars around the track. And yeah, if you're interested in joining these things, there's a link in the description. Just click on that. You'll get a rookie series pretty much as quick as they can find a slot for you, and you can be joining into this multi-class racing as well.
Now, Orloz has just joined the room, so he'll have time to do his 10-minute qualifying as the field just making their way down the Kemmel Straight. Is also one other new driver in this championship, or making his return into the ARC racing, is Law. He's racing in, is it the P1s, is it, or is it the PCs?
He's in the P1s, so yeah, he's going to be racing in the Fuego, LMP cars. He's currently filling in basically in my spots, technically, I guess, but we both were signed up. We needed a caster and all that stuff, so here I am, there he is. But he's had beyond historic races at Spa, so
oh yes,
definitely want to see him out there. If he can get in front of people, it'll be hard to get by him for sure.
And with this being a multi-class event, it's not going to be a 60-minute race, it will be a 90-minute race like it was at Blue Moon. And looking at how the grid will form up, we're going to have 5 drivers in the P1s, 3 of them in the PCs, 4 of them in the GT, and only 2 of them in the GT class. So that's going to be pretty tight there, because I think we've got about 4 to 5 GTC, 6 GTC drivers, and only 2 is going to make it into the streamed event. So it's going to be pretty tight. Who's going to be the lucky 2 out of those? So we'll find out when qualifying ends in about 10 minutes' time.
Well, I also am curious about the GTs as well, because I know there's quite a battle there in the GT land, and I mean, if you make a bad lap here, which is easy to do, they're only got 10 minutes, so you're talking about 3, maybe 4 laps at most of actual timed runs.
Yeah.
Like, you could end up finding yourself making mistakes, slipping down, and losing big points on your rivals that you're right all over.
And again, for those that are new into the championship, in terms of the tyre rules, the PC and P1 cars have only got to use 1 set of softs to their name, whereas the GT class and the GT, well, the GTs basically, including the GTCs, have got 2 sets of softs to their name. So, yeah. just to point that out there.
It's tough in the P1s, and I can't confirm with the Red Bulls, haven't run those around here, but you wear your tires pretty quick and you run your fuel real fast, so it'll be exciting to see how the P1s do, whether they go with a full fuel saving strat, try to cut it down to a 2-stopper, or if they just rev it all the way out and allow themselves to try to run something like, take that extra 3rd stop or even a potential 4th stop with only the 1 set of softs.
So here we go, we're looking at the new guy, Zanzibar then, making his way towards the Lacoum chicane. In 2nd gear through there, you can see it's just slightly uphill. Taking it nice and tidy through there, now in towards Malmedy, and then downhill towards the Rivage, the hairpin. Should be about 2nd gear this. Looks like he's taking those lines very, very well. He's clipping the curb there, but still far doing a good job so far. Now into the corner with No Name, and then onto Pouon, the fast sweeping double left-hander. So far, Zanzibar looking pretty good at the moment. We've got 6 minutes to go until qualifying. What's happening in the other one? Your lobby?
The P1s have finished their first out lap, and they're pretty much in the order you would somewhat expect them to be. We got Inman, and then Charles about 3/10 off him, running in the 55s, low 56s. 55.7's the top of it, and then Rascal, Bomba, and Law's gone into the pits. He must have taken damage or something, or had the wrong tires on maybe. So Law doesn't have a time yet. And then, surprise, surprise, Goofy currently sitting in the top time with the PCs after the first lap, but Merlin is all over his time and is actually pulling his slipstream right now. So Merlin and Goofy might be right back into that battle for the top spot.
Now, also not to mention too is that Goofy has to serve a 2 grid place penalty because of a qualifying incident a week ago at Tsukuba. So he's got to pretty much be legitimately start on the pole, and then he'll make the show. If he starts second, he'll still be like 4th in the PC class, and therefore he will not make it, I think. Because there's only 3 PC spots up for grabs, so really Goofy has really got to get that car put on pole position, and then you have to serve that 2 grid place penalty, which will put him down 3rd, but he can't qualify 2nd, otherwise he won't make the show. Well, the streamed event, really.
Yeah, I mean, from my understanding, depending on the times of everyone and stuff like that, ooh, this is going to be bad. Goofy is currently in front of Merlin, who's on a very hot lap, but he's about to have to back out. Or no, it looks like Goofy actually. They somehow managed to get by each other without impeding each other. We'll see. Goofy may be reporting that because he kind of got forced off his line. So, but Merlin does keep his lap going, so he might be putting down a better one, as he's kind of gotten slipstream around most of this track.
Right, then here we go then. So the times then in the GT class, Dominguez, the points leader of the GT class, as predicted, leads the field. He is 3 tenths ahead of Darth, who's trying to catch up with him in the Porsche. And then there's a huge gap, nearly 2 seconds from Darth to Wiley in the Peugeot. Then you got Thunderpig, the first of the GTC drivers, running 4th in the class and leading overall in the, like I said, the GTC class. And you got Antibiotic in 5th, who has got the 1 second penalty, which he'll probably have to serve because coming in towards the pole Fred a bit. Orloz, who was just new, you know, just came into this lobby. He sits 6th place overall. Then you've got Fubar in 7th place, but he is the 2nd placed of the GTC cars. So at the moment it is Thunderpig and Fubar. Then you got GW Garnell, who is only just a 10th behind Fubar, 3rd overall in class, and then last overall in the GTC class is Zanzibar. But then you got Alex Gaming in 10th, and then you got the Baldy one in 11th, and Cro Magna, who is still on his outlap, and looks like he's going to be doing maybe 1, maybe 2 laps then, because we've nearly got about 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in this qualifying session. And Dominguez actually goes faster by just 1/100th of a second, so the gap is a little bit extended. And now Alex Gaming puts his Carly Rae Jepsen Porsche into 3rd place, and only 1/4 of a tenth slower than the fellow Porsche racer Darth.
Yeah, and currently in this lobby, there's lots of confusion going on, as a lot of people thought it was only a 5-minute qualifying and was pulled off, and then the lobby almost got closed there and telling people to stop. So everyone's kind of getting back on and trying to get going, but it looks like hopefully everyone got their times in the first about 5 or 6 minutes, as there was definitely been a little bit of impeding over here. But Charles and Inman are still top 2, Rascal right on top of them as well. And then it's really hard to tell because there's been a couple people who DC'd, so everything's kind of split all over the place. Law's about to put down his first lap. I'm currently seeing his time is 596 days, it looks like, so I don't think that's an effective time. They're actually going to restart the quali in this lobby, as so many people got jumbled because of the interesting call. So there will be a little delay waiting for this lobby to finish, as I think yours is about to finish here in about a minute or so.
Yeah, about a minute left, yeah. And just looking at Fubar, it did improve his time by 4 tenths, so now it's now 1/2 a second between himself and Garnell for the last spot to be in the streamed event. I tell you what, Fubar, he's also getting better. Like Garnell, he is definitely getting better. 2nd in the championship, only a few points behind Thunderpig, who's still fastest in the GTC class. Yep, so we do have now less than a minute to go.
Good news is we'll get to stream both lobbies, because you'll be able to jump over into here. I believe there's enough room. If there's not, I can always just back out, and then there will be enough room. But I believe there's enough room. There is. So you'll be able to, we'll get to watch both the PC or the prototypes and the GTs run their qualifying. But yeah, Fubar's been improving pretty much non-stop and getting more confidence and just, you know, hitting those lines and everything. It'll be interesting to see exactly how his race goes. Same with, I think I see Antibiotics got a time on there. He's been improving as well.
Yep.
So it will be interesting to see how these guys do, how they feel, you know, more comfortable, less comfortable around traffic now that they've had, you know, multiple events and getting lapped or lapping people. So it will be nice to see how everybody does.
And just seeing who was just making their way in towards, that might be Fubar, I reckon. That's just coming across the line, or someone was just ahead of him.
Hello, Charles.
Charles
said hello in chat.
Yeah, Charles said hello. Oh, that was Garnell. So Garnell shouldn't be doing another lap. In fact, Garnell actually did improve. But
nice.
Not good enough, though, to out-qualify Fubar. He shouldn't be doing a fast lap because qualifying is over, and Garnell crossed the line when the timer had expired. So I'm hoping he would know that. Meanwhile, Cro Magna sticks his Beetle into 2nd place and splits Dominguez and Darth.
Crow's pace has been ridiculous this season. He's really been putting down some hot laps.
Yeah, 2:16.9 he's only done 3 laps or so. I think he was fuel burned in the first stint, but then pulls out a really good lap here. Got half a second penalty, but he'll be good enough to make the show, as well as Darth, and it looks like it's going to be Alex Gaming that could be the 4th racer in the lobby. And in terms of, that's not right there, Alex. Getting Stavolo 2 completely all messed up. Let's look at the Baldy one, who's now into 6th place. So Baldy one is now the fastest guy in the GTC class. And it will be... oh, wait a minute. Where's Thunderpig? What was Thunderpig's time? Oh, I can't even see what his time is.
Thunder is the lobby host, so he probably had to jump out. If you go into the live timing, you might be able to check it from there.
Thunderpig did a 2 minute 19.2, so my apologies. Food Bar's been ousted out of that spot, and it's going to be the Baldy one and Thunderpig is going to be racing in the streamed event. So qualifying is pretty much over now, so we'll give you a rundown of how they qualified. Dominguez will start pole in the GT class with a 2:16.529. Did he actually improve his time? Yeah, it looks like he did, but I think time... Oh, no, he was legitimately across the line when the time had finished. So, yeah, he had time to do another lap. So, yeah, Dominguez, that was fine. Dominguez improved his time by nearly 3 attempts, I think that was there. Crow Magnus second, Darth Nihilus in third, and Alex Gaming fourth. Those are the 2 drivers, 4 drivers that are going to be making the GT class on the streamed event. Wiley just missing out by over nearly a second and a half. Over Alex Gaming. The Baldy one, the first of the GTC drivers, he will stick that BMW only nearly half a second behind Wiley's time, so that's pretty good going there for Baldy.
That's interesting. Baldy out-qualified 2 of the GT drivers.
Yeah, Anti and Orlos, and Orlos only just came in about 30 seconds after the qualifying had started. Thunderpig, 2:19.2, and he's the second and the last drivers of the GTC class to make it in. Fubar just missing out, as well as GW Garnell and Zanzibar. I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing a lot of him as the season goes on. So we've got Dominguez, Crow, Darth and Alex Gaiman making it in the GT, and it's going to be Baldy and Thunderpig that's going to be in the GTC class. Now we're going to head over to Inman's lobby.
Yeah, I mean, and Baldy and Thunderpig have been having an absolute battle most of this season. I remember at Sabuka, I was watching that last week, if it was.
Yeah.
And I feel like they were all over each other for a good portion of that race as well.
And also Fubar was there too, because he was battling with them.
Right, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see them kind of relive that battle. You know, it's a little depressing that I don't get to redo my battle with Bomba that we had, but we'll get other opportunities through in. But it'll be exciting to see what they do, as they are on their flying laps now. Charles will be the first one. Rascal's currently not quite in slip range, which is probably smart. You got to be kind of cheeky about getting slipstream at the very last second here, because you don't want to impede someone's lap, and it can be tough to get the move done without impeding someone. So, like, if you can sneak up and catch it at the very end and just pull it down this back straight, as Charles goes a little wide on his run, that's about the best opportunity you can do to actually use slipstream without impeding anyone. So it looks like Rascal might be kind of setting up to try to close down Charles and be able to maybe do that on one of the faster laps towards the end if he can keep it up.
Someone is off at Radion.
Yeah, it looks like Goofer looks like he may have had a spin there at Radion, but he's also got nice track everywhere, so he can run uncontested on his laps. What does worry me a little bit is Law has a couple of PCs, it looks like, right in front of him with Furious 2 and I think it's the original J-Boy maybe? And yeah, so as these laps go on, Law could end up approaching traffic, and the last thing you want is to have traffic. Usually the PCs or the P1s are doing everything they can to get that first lap ahead of the PCs so that you can just run your laps without traffic.
He's actually fuel burning this Law, and I have to say that is a very striking livery. I don't know why, I just love the colour green on cars. I think it just looks really nice. And that one, with the Jaguar looking livery, that does look very smart there from Law. So, love to see that. It is a
very clean one. And Baldy said the GTC is where it's at in chat, and I mean, You made it look like it. That was beyond impressive. Like, they should make you run the GTC against the GT boys with how quick you were pumping around the track. But absolutely fantastic lap from Baldy there.
Yeah, now qualifying the antibiotic, who's in a, obviously, not to be
Inman
sound
just went
disrespectful.
0.5 of a second faster than his best lap last qualifying before the big error. So Inman is already putting down insane times.
Yeah, there's a look then at Inman. He'll want some redemption after what happened a couple of weeks ago at Lago, where he's gone off again at in between Stabilo 1 and 2. So Inman just a little bit pushing the edge a bit too far, and he's got some damage now on his Peugeot.
It should wear off before the start-finish straight, so he should be able to get the next lap up and going. The only thing that would really... And I think he's got a big enough gap on Bomba that he probably won't catch him up. He might even get to be a little cheeky about it and use him for some slipstream, but... I mean, yeah, these the other P1s are definitely going to need to really put the pedal down if they're going to gain, 0.5 of a second for Charles, which is totally doable. And Rascal, who's jumped into the pits, grabbing some new set of softs, I'm thinking there. Same as Bomba. Bomba's also jumping in the pits for a new set of softs, which, to be fair, if you're going to go for the new set of softs, why not fuel burn for the first couple laps anyways and try to get your fuel down further than everybody else?
I'm just looking at Goofy. I think that's what he's just trying to do. He's fuel burning, so he's probably going to go for the one lap stint, I'm guessing. But don't forget, he's got to serve a 2 grid place penalty. So, like I says, like about 10 or so minutes ago, he's got to stick that Red Bull Junior car on the pole position. If he qualifies second, he's not going to make it. He's not going to be in the streamed event. So it is a big lap here for Goofy.
Inman just came out in a real peculiar situation because he's got cars on a hot lap right in front of him in the other class. So once again, he's definitely
backing out.
By the way, he's fuel burning.
Yeah,
he's been revving that out at the bounce pretty much the whole time now. He can get Merland on the straight here most likely quite easily. Ooh, that is a weird way to go around.
Just managed to squeeze a P1 car in that gap.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the issue with catching up to traffic here, is the fact that, like, you have to pass them without impeding them at all, and they can just kind of take their normal lines in qualifying, and you have to do, you don't really have the same rights as you do in a race situation, right? They're on a lap, you're not on a lap, so, like, if they choose to go this way or that way, they're kind of entitled to it, and you just have to not be there.
Looking here at La Bomba, sitting 4th place, 1.8 seconds off pole, but he is going for one more lap as Goofy just running P1 just a little bit wide. But La Bomba's probably just going to go for this lap only and see. La Bomba's actually been known as a bit of a qualifying expert, but when it comes to racing, he starts to falter a little bit. But hopefully it will turn it around for him.
Well, I know he had me quite handily beat. I was closing the gap down on him a little bit, but if I'd have got it in time, it would have been a lot of help. And then, obviously, you probably didn't know, but he got attacked by a fly when he went off the track. If you remember when he went and slammed the wall at, like, full speed. He had a fly in and start messing with him, which caused him to lose concentration, which was extremely beneficial for myself. But I would expect he's probably made sure that there's no more flies entering while he's driving so that he doesn't accidentally put a tire on the grass while fighting a fly.
I don't think that's more of a better excuse than what Yanir's won at the Clio Cup, the Renault, the McGann Cup series at Brands Hatch when his cat pushed the off button on his TV. But there we go. Anyway, a minute to go, and La Bomba's getting on it to do his one good laps. Like I said, sitting in 4th place. Inman is just there behind him and he's going to be on a fast lap as well. So we'll give you a rundown then, quickly, because we ain't seen a lot of them. Inman on pole, Charles 2nd, Rascal 3rd, La Bomba 4th, Goofy in 5th, then it's Maryland in 6th, then it's J-Boy 7th, Furious 2 in 8th, 9th is Goofy. Like I says, he's got to be on that pole position and he's getting a good tool from Maryland up the Kemmel Straight. Then you've got Law in 10th, and there is Rhino Sean, who, my screen, he looks like he's lagged. He's lagged through the track.
He's in the pits for me. I haven't actually seen him come out of the pits yet. I don't know if he has a penalty. So, he doesn't need to qualify or if he's having connection issues or something like that. But I haven't seen him leave the pit for, I think, either of the two qualifyings. Maybe he did in the first one, though.
Right, let's have a look then at Law's livery, because I do love that car. Oh, where is Law now? Where's he put his car? He's put his car now up into 5th place, so he 203.173 for Law. So that's not good, but he'll do a lot better in the race, I'm pretty sure. As the Furious just makes his way, looks like he's not going to be making it into the streamed event. There he is, 9th place for him.
Yeah, it's the final lap to improve, if anyone's going to improve. I don't think there even is anyone left to change in the P1s. I think the P1s are pretty much set in stone now. But the PCs are all on their final hot lap here, so, you know, Goofrey coming around onto the back straight now, and then the rest will be following him pretty shortly.
The Bomber improved, but...
And I know Furious... And let me check real quick. Furious and Goofrey both have additional time because they had connection issues right at the start. So expect them to keep going.
So we're just seeing La Bomba going 4th, but he went 6 tenths quicker, but not enough to get by Charles's time. Let's see what Goofrey can do as he crosses the line. He will go 2:13 by over a second. But it's not enough, though, to be in the main...
He does have another lap, so...
Oh, he's just gave up.
He's going to go ahead and call it there. I was like, I think he still technically had one more lap to go, but he may have said that's as good as it's getting. I believe Furious will also have one more lap, assuming... Well, his time, I don't know. I don't remember if he gets 2 extra laps or 12 minutes, so he might not get there in time to get an extra lap.
He's just making his way towards the 2 Stavilo corners. That was where Inman binned it. He's 7 tenths up, though, so he could pass J-Boy.
J-Boy and Merland are on top of each other's times as well, and if Furious is about to put in another time right there, he's really going to mix it all up if he keeps it going here.
Well, at the moment, as it stands right now, Furious is in the show, because, like I said, there's only 4 PC players making this lobby, and he is sitting 4th overall in the class, so this will definitely improve. At least he will... you know, out-qualify J-Boy as he gets the chicane. Nice. Let's see what he will do. It's a 2:11, yeah, and he go... Oh, no, he stays 8th. He didn't go...
He stayed where he is. He just brought it closer.
Yeah, he brought it closer. I thought he was going to, you know, out-qualify. Oh, is he doing another lap?
He does have one more lap, so... Like I said, they do get 2 additional laps because they missed the start because of connection errors. So Furious does have one more lap to go. And so... You know, obviously, if he has any major issues, he'll probably just back out of it right there. But as long as he stays, you know, close to purple for himself, should be good to go. Coming up on his first sector, how did he do on the first sector? No pressure. The entire world's watching right now. 10th down, I wouldn't give up on a 10th. You can make that back. Must have just gotten a bad launch out of the source.
Lost the rear, though, and that's going to be an end there, and slammed
that'll
off.
Do it.
Yeah, that's lost the rear in the middle of the Lecombe chicane, and well, that's the end.
It's tough in those Red Bulls because you've got to keep a little throttle applied usually through the corners to keep the downforce working. Because if you like release completely off the throttle at any point in time, you lose all your downforce basically. So I can imagine Lecombes and Pujon just being probably not Rouge and Rodillion. It's Radion. It's not as bad, but I definitely Lecombes and Pujon are probably kind of tough in those cars because you need to be off the throttle to make the turn, but then you want to be on the throttle to keep the car on the track.
So there is how they will look. Well, the qualifying there. So Inman, you see there is 10th, but he is fastest overall. 154.6. Yep, 54.6. He was. Rascal was nearly a second behind, actually, Inman's time. So Rascal will start 2nd, Charles 3rd, La Bomba 4th, and ARC Law 5th. Then in the pool, in the Red Bull class, it will be Maryland with a 2:11. Oh, no, sorry, my bad. It says Goofy. Goofy 2:11.119.
Goofy's got the fast one.
Yeah, Goofy.
Then Maryland,
J-Boy,
are on top of each other.
Yeah. Very close there, 2 tenths there. Oh no, sorry, my bad. It was 3 Red Bull junior cars, not 4. So Furious only just missed out by a 10th there, and like you know, as we saw, binned it in the middle of the Lecombe chicane. So Furious is not going to make it. So it will be Goofy, Maryland, and J-Boy that's going to be into the streamed event. Furious just missed out. Goofy Well, it looks like he and well, you got Why Not Sean there. They didn't even post a time as well. So Gouffry, I don't think that's who plays. It wouldn't make any difference because he would start on the back row of the grid. And yeah, that's pretty much it there. So yeah, Inman flying 154.672, nearly a second quicker than Rascal.
Yeah, I mean that's I'm sure Inman's put some time into practicing the track and stuff, so I can definitely. It's the kind of track where, I mean, if you just nail a lap, there are so many areas to gain, just a tenth here, a tenth there, and there's so many corners that if you put the lap together, you can get a really fast time versus if you're just like a consistent lap, a decent lap, like the track and you can run a pretty quick lap. Like, yeah, it's not too difficult to have a full second separating the difference between hitting a lap and being pretty consistent with a lap.
And Charles even agreed on the time that's an incredible time, yeah, from Inman.
Oh yeah, it's just absolutely nuts. But what else is there to expect?
I think he was expecting the challenge there because I seen that Hallex was going to be racing in this, but then pulled out quite late on because he didn't know what time it would start, I think it was. So, yeah, again, Inman stamping his authority, dominating in this championship, and hopefully some redemption after what happened to him a couple of weeks ago at Lago, where he threw that win all away by losing it on a couple of occasions. I want to see Law's livery because I do love that car. That is such a nice livery. Remember, we've got your Bomber doing donuts there just ahead there. No, that's not the Bomber, my bad. Someone's doing... Oh, that's too loud. I'm going to go over to Furious. That's nice and quiet. So, but anyways, yeah. So, good qualifying all round. Who were you impressed by in qualifying?
Most impressed? I mean, to be fair, Rascal getting ahead of Charles is extremely impressive. Charles is historically one of the fastest drivers. So is Rascal, but usually if you were going to rank them in an order, you would think that it wouldn't be a 3/10 gap in this direction. But Rascal's clearly been putting some effort in and working. So I'd say he's probably the most impressive, the most likely just based on qualifying, which is not enough to base anything on. But if you're just going to base it off qualifying, Rascal's got what seems to be impressive pace, enough pace where if traffic's going to screw over Inman in any way, Rascal could be right there to pounce. So I'm extremely excited to watch him racing. Charles being right on top of him, that's going to be a fun battle right there. And just historically, they're going to keep up with Inman. They always do. And then to be fair, I want to see what Law can do. His lap time is equivalent of a GT driver right now, so I'm going to expect he gets the track figured out by the time it starts. And I have no doubt that he'll be able to battle up there, battle with La Bomba, and probably battle with Rascal and Charles. So I don't expect him to be consistently putting out GT times as well. So that'll be exciting. And then let's give a shout out to Goofy. He's once again top of the class in qualifying. Merlin's half a second off of him. So the two big battles in the PC class are going to be extremely exciting. And from the GTs, let's not forget Baldy out-qualified half the GT squad in the GTC, so that's already qualifying for driver of the day before the race has even started.
Yeah, that was a good lap time from Baldy to out-qualify. The faster, the more straight line speed of the Corvette of Antibiotic. And Orloz, who's only just, again, new to this championship as well. So, Orloz, he'll get better as it goes on, like McGonnell and with Zanzibar, which we'll see later on in this championship. As you see there, Why Not Sean has left the room there, so I'm guessing if they've got the qualifying times all sorted. It was also nice to see Why Not Sean back out on the track there, but obviously we couldn't see him that way on the track because he was glitched on my screen, so...
Yeah, he was glitched on everyone's screen but his own there, so he's doing a restart, going to clear his cache and all that kind of stuff, see if he can't get it fixed up for the race, because that was... Usually when someone's invisible, you can't see them, but in this case, you could absolutely see him sitting in the pits, but he was actually out on the track running stuff, so, good thing he didn't come into contact with anyone who didn't know he was there, I guess. That's always beneficial, and, Spa's a fantastic track, so I really can't wait to see what happens when... I want to know how patient the P1s are really going to be, because if you think about it, if you catch one of those slower cars in a lot of areas, you're technically stuck for corners on corners. Now, the P1s do have a lot of acceleration advantage, so they won't be the worst case, but if you're in one of the Red Bulls and you catch someone coming right before Lacombs,
ages ago we did a 3-hour endurance race here, and it was like the P1s to the
I recall
GT3s.
that.
Yeah,
I recall that.
And there were some really scary moments where the P1 cars had to get by the lap traffic, especially at Eau Rouge, Radion, Pouhon, and maybe Blanchimont as well. Those are like the real.
Yeah. I recall a huge incident of
mount.
Blanchimont. I remember a huge incident of Blanchimont. Robo posts that video all the time of me driving into Kobu at full speed there. I get posted every few months of just bam.
Just to remind you, basically.
I did that. Oh yeah. Well, it's one of the things that's been great about joining the community is you can look back at that and realize how much better you've gotten. Because today, if that same incident came up, my eyes wouldn't be glued to the apex 6 inches away from me. I would have actually been looking further down the track and seeing that Kobu had no fuel and that I needed to change my line real quick. But back then, I was so focused on just hitting my apexes that I was like, is the apex... I mean, I was probably looking behind me to make sure I hit the apex backwards, and then all of a sudden, there's a dead-stopped car in the middle of the track in front of me.
Now, I'm just looking at the Discord chat here, and I'm just looking at a picture from Why Not Sean here, and he's posted a time of a 2:11.911. Now, we've seen on his one, his car was glitched in the pits. So...
Yeah, they recorded his time, though. Like, he ran it.
Alright, so we didn't see him out on track, but on his screen, he was out on track. But you were saying that, probably restart... Oh, and you left a comment on there. Okay.
Yeah. Inman got the time registered, so he could go restart his thing, and he'll get placed properly where he's supposed to. Like, he's not going to get...
Actually,
shunted for the GT being weird.
He'll probably be in the streamed event, and he will probably kick out J-Boy, actually, come to think of it.
I mean, that would be impressive. Rascal says yeet in the chat as well, so he should be excited. He got qualified Charles, and he's got Inman sitting right there. And to be fair, if he can keep it aggressive off the start and stick the outside line, because Inman's going to hold the inside line through La Source, but if you can stick the outside line and take that outside line towards Eau Rouge and Radion, however it's pronounced, you will most definitely have a decent chance of winning that, because you'll have the inside, the outside, and then the inside again, and actually be on the racing line down the straight. So having that outside line, if he can win it through the first corner, which is almost impossible, it is so hard to get those P1s to really turn. So Inman will have an advantage on turn 1, but if any mistakes happen, that gives Rascal either overlap or the ability to go around the outside there. He could end up being in the lead come the first lap of Lacombs.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting, and if he does that, then that 1 second a lap that Inman has all of a sudden becomes a lot less advantageous.
I've also just seen, just again looking at the chat there, I think that Chucky has also said that he last played this game since he last raced on that, and that was 2 weeks ago. So yeah, so Charles
Chucky
been a little bit rusty.
Always says some stupid thing about I'm not practiced, I haven't played the game in a month, and then he runs the fastest lap anyone's ever seen. So even if it's true, it doesn't even matter. He's going to be flying around the track like he always is.
Well, he's got to get on with it, because he's the championship leader. He's only 3 points ahead of Inman, and you know how Inman was in qualifying. He's just a league of his own. Inman. It's really just going to be a battle between Rascal, Charles, LeBomba, and Law for second and third and fourth and fifth. Really, if it would be like that.
Well, look at Charles trying to make more excuses in the chat, and we all know it doesn't.
You never have time for these days.
It doesn't matter in the slightest. And I'm sure Inman, I saw him race at Bathurst earlier in this week, and without the best results ever. So I'm sure he's anxious to get out there and put down an amazing result as well. So let's listen to more of Charles's excuses before the race starts and he wins.
Dominguez also saying well in the chat there. Well, looks like he's on course maybe for... Yupnum saying unless we have a bin man. Yeah. Well, we have seen it. We have seen it in qualifying, and we did see it 2 weeks ago, So, you never know. You never know.
Well, and don't put traffic... Traffic's going to be really interesting with the 4 classes out there, because... It is very likely that you're going to catch up somewhere like Pouhon and there's going to be a GTC trying to pass, or a PC trying to pass a GT or something like that, and they just don't have the total acceleration and top speed to do it quickly. And the P1, like, that'll take up the whole track if they're doing that. So the P1's literally just going to be stuck there waiting for this battle between two other classes, and there'll be, like, you'll have to go around the track to even pass them.
So we're still waiting for confirmation of the times, and then we'll hopefully get this 90-minute race underway. We're hoping.
Oh, the times are getting posted now. Thunderpig has listed them, with Inman obviously starting at the top. Rascal Charles. They are taking a couple of the P1s out. The order has been changed from what was originally posted.
We're not going to see Law's livery. Oh,
nope, you got to run faster than a GT if you're going to get into the top lobby, though, which it's no big deal. He's had about as much practice as I had this week, so it's to be expected. I would expect him and La Bamba, though, to have just nothing but a fantastic battle in that second lobby, to be fair. But that does mean that they're going to have the 4 GTs in there, so Darth and Alex and Crow and Dominguez, who are all in a battle for their positions, are in there as well in the GT class. Goofrey, the original J-Boy, and Merlin are going to be showing up for the PC, so Furious did barely get knocked out of the PC lobby one, and then we already knew the Baldy one and Thunder are going to renew their rivalry in this lobby, so as they had the top 2 times in GTC. But to be fair, looking at this lobby B race, it looks, I mean, this is going to be an absolute battle in most of these classes, as well as Bomba and Lal being P1. Then you got Furious, Why Not Sean, who were separated by less than a tenth of a second from each other, and Goofrey, who's right in there as well in the PCs. Wiley, with the Wiley fan club, will be taking the pole of the GTs, Antibiotic and Orlaws, just behind him, and their times are all on top of each other, so that's going to be an amazing battle. And then we know the GTCs with Fubar, Gorell, and the new guy, I don't even want to try it, Zanzabia.
Yeah, that's it.
Are going to have an amazing race between each other. They've all been improving. We get the newer person trying out, and he gets to, not have the pressure of the streamed lobby right off the bat. So, I mean, these are going to be some exciting races here, it looks like.
I'm genuinely sad there, because it was going to be 5 P1 cars, and then they changed it probably at the very last minute, and I'm so sad now that we don't get to see Law's livery.
Yeah, but if you put 5 P1s in Lobby A and 0 P1s in Lobby B, then the Lobby B doesn't even get the 4-class experience, which is the whole point of it, right? So not really right to do that, and, that's kind of the battle that was set up to be to begin with. And, yeah, it makes the most sense. It would make no sense to, chop it in a way that prevents, 10 people from experiencing the 4-class racing.
And also La Bomba's livery. I do like La Bomba's livery as well. So there is the Baldy one out on track then, practicing. And yeah, very solid lap time from Baldy. One of the 2 drivers in the GTC class there. Looks like he's going to start the race on mediums. I don't know what Thunderpig is going to be racing on. He's not in there just yet. A lot of the... looks like some of the GT drivers are going to take the medium option. Some of them for softs. Looks like a couple of the Red Bull Juniors, except for Maryland, is going for mediums.
That is very interesting. I haven't tested the Red Bulls, so I don't know how long a soft stint would actually last on the Red Bulls. This is weird. I don't get to see the times. No fair. My GT's all bugged. Oh well. So I can't imagine. I'm trying to think, because, you're starting on softs, you have the most fuel in your car, and you only get 1 stint on them. So, I could understand, the GT cars, they get 2 sets of softs. You might try to run away from people on a set of softs, and then run mediums to keep that gap, and then switch to softs towards the end again. But, yeah, unless they just haven't changed yet, it does seem like a lot of the... prototypes, and even Charles is sitting there on softs as well, so it's going to be interesting, because people are going to get kind of separated out and then come back together if they hold their times consistently. It seems like everyone's trying to come up with some crazy strat here at the 90 minutes of Spa.
Yeah, It wasn't like that in the GR3s where everyone would go for the same tyre strategy as everyone else. So, you know, it's good to see.
Well,
Yeah.
if you attempted in the GR3s, because of the way the tire wear worked and the length of the race, you needed to run softs on the lowest amount of fuel, because if your rival ran softs on low fuel and you ran softs on full fuel, like, not only are you getting slowed down by the fact there's traffic right off the start of the race, there's like everyone you're battling, but you also were just naturally losing a second a lap because they were on lower fuel on their softs. So you just couldn't, like, you couldn't gain the time needed to gain on the mediums on the alternate strat, which is why everyone ended up getting pinned into the exact same strat that season. Where this one got a little higher tire wear, longer racing, and different tire rules, so it opens up different opportunities. I don't know that Charles is going to stay on the softs. I think unless he's really reaching into the bag of tricks, because he does not think he has a chance of keeping up with Inman. Like, because that's another thing. If you don't think you can keep up with someone, like, just if you're going straight on pace, they're going to beat you, your only option is to go on to an alternate strategy. Like, you need to win by strategy if you can't win by pace.
So we're just still waiting for the other racers to join in. Who are we waiting for? Rascal and Inman by the looks of it. And then let's see if we can get this 90-minute race underway. I'm hoping, because it's coming up for 8 o'clock here, my time. And yeah, we're just waiting for Inman and Rascal to come along then. So looking at the tyre strategies there, looks like the two GTC drivers are going to go for the mediums. I think a lot of the GT drivers are going for the medium stint. Oh, the Bomber's joined the room. He should be.
Probably the wrong one unless there's something updated, but makes sense. People try to get sorted into all the different areas.
Probably. So just looking then, looks like the majority of the GT races are going to go on, starting on a set of mediums. Oh, Merlin trying to get by Crow Magna at the Radion. And Merlin is on a set of mediums. Looking then at the original J-Boy, who is still on a set of softs. Now, I don't know why Baldy has joined. Hey, sorry, Baldy. Sorry, I mean La Bomba. Right, there is Inman. Now we're just waiting for Rascal. Now, where is Rascal? There he is. And La Bomba's joined. So what's happened now then? What about Law? What's happened to Law? Can he not join and race?
I do not know. There hasn't been an update that I've seen yet. Like, it's very likely Bomba just joined the wrong lobby, saw the wrong lobby, or... I have no idea. I do not know the answer to your question yet. Oh, he's asking a question. La Bomba has been moved to Lobby A. So there's clearly background conversations going on that we are not privy to, but Pig has confirmed... I don't know why I call Thunder Pig instead of just Thunder, but Pig has confirmed that he is an A, so we may be seeing Law jump in here as well. They may have made a last-minute adjustment to put all of the P1s, or maybe Law wasn't able to make the race.
Well, I beg to plead. Oh, I thought that was Law that joined the lobby. God, oh,
No,
I just had my hopes up there.
So I'm assuming Law wouldn't have been able to make the race, possibly. I'm not sure. I do not see an update. So, but needless to say, La Bomba fan clubs rejoice because he is in the Lobby A.
So we're just getting on with a stock check here, as we do this like every week. So yeah, I'm just disappointed that we're not going to see Law. I'm just so sad. But anyway, we've got a bit of colour in the field, so that's good to see. So we're just going to check to see if all 13 drivers are going to be... Law's going to have a boring race by himself, like he really is. Just come to think of it.
I don't think they would have moved Bomba into Lobby A if Law was able to make the whole race. They would have probably just raced as a group of two in Lobby B. So my guess is Law.
Oh my God, they've all messed up. They've all messed up. What's going on here? This is amateur stuff here. Everyone was going off at Las Horse. Oh, diddy me. La Bomba was going off there. There was contact as well from, who was that, Maryland and someone else. Deary me, that was all happening.
I mean, this is going to be an insane start. Now, the prototypes, when the actual race goes on, they should be doing a rolling start, so a full formation lap, and then there should be a gap between the prototypes and the GTs, so interesting that they're not doing a rolling start practice as they're...
Oh, wow, everyone's going off.
Yeah, no one in the... Well, there's no rules in the warm-ups, so everyone just kind of gets around the track as quickly as they can. You don't need to burn your penalties or anything. You're just making sure there's no cars you can't see on the grid at this point, and it seems as though I can see everyone. So hopefully they can see everyone, as Inman's ghosted, so he's probably typing. Charles flying around getting any laps of practice in he can right now.
Right, let's ride on board with the bomber. Let's ride on board with the bomber then, making his way at Pouhon, just watching the cars just all days passing. Oh, there goes Goofy. And now you got Crow and... Oh! That was not on there, Bomber. What was that all about? He's still trying to work through the traffic. Well, by the looks of it there, we do have all 13 races in. Well, but they were all moving, so that's good. That's how you work the way through. Yes! Last bit, my favourite livery's on the track. Oh, you love to see. I love to see that. There you go. Oh, I'm a happy savvy. Sean's a very happy boy indeed. Get in there. Charles is just taking the Mickey there of just winning the race now. Oh, Alex has spun them out of the bus stop chicane now. Gets into Darth, his fellow Porsche racer, and Dominguez there won the GT class yet again. Now we're all getting all stacked up there as the race is just finished now. So then,
so I think everybody was good. I don't know if they'll run another stuck check for Law or not. I don't think he ever really has issues in lobbies, so he should be good to go.
No, I've never seen Law get stuck at all. I'm hoping that we should be good to go. So, yeah, there's your winner there. Chucky, well done to him. His second win of the season, and that's the end of the race. See you next week, then. No, I'm only kidding.
Yeah, what a race. You feel like joining these races?
Right, then, so here we go. Put you on the spot here. Who do you think will win each of the classes?
Well, you know, I would be remiss to bet against Inman when he puts down a qualifying lap like he did, so... Plus, Inman's probably the sweetest person you've ever met, like literally one of the nicest people in the entire league. So I'm going to root for Inman and say that he's probably going to take it out of the P1s, but at the same time, I'm going to root for Chaos, so I wouldn't be upset if anything else happened. Coming out of the GTs, man, Dominguez has been looking strong, but I'm going to reach outside the box and say that Crow has a win, and that Crow gets the times down and he gets a sneaky way. He's extremely good in traffic. He's very predictable for the other classes as well, so when I'm racing and coming up on Crow, I know what he's going to do because he holds the racing line. If he makes a mistake, he stays off the racing line. So him being really predictable is going to be a very big thing around here because cars that are passing him are going to know what he's doing. So I'm going to say Crow sneakily gets ahead of Darth and Dominguez in the GTs and go out on a limb there and go in the Crow bag. So I'll be rooting for Crow. The PCs, man.
That's tight, isn't it?
Do we think Goofy sticks it out, or should I stick with my guns and go American? I mean, it's hard not to. Yeah, Merlin. You got to root for Merlin. I think Merlin's going to find a way to pull it out. If Goofy has any incidents like he did last week, he could end up finding himself slipping up and it costing quite a bit of time here. So I think Merlin's going to go with the back-to-back wins. And then there's just, I mean, look, I just want to make it clear, I love Thunderpig, all right? Thunderpig's one of my favorite people ever, but there's just no chance I'm rooting against Baldy, so clearly Baldy taking the GTCs.
Okay, then I'm quite interested in yeah, well, I mean, you were talking about with the GT class there. I mean, it has been a bit of a battle with Crow and Dominguez, and just Crow hasn't got that knack of, you know, beating of Dominguez just yet, though. But you never know. Today could be the day that Dominguez's 100% winning record could be ended today if Crow gets it, you know, gets it completely right.
Darth short at all either in that class. Darth is insanely fast, one of the, usually top 10 to 13 fastest in the league as well. So, he's no slouch in there either. And over a long stint, that's something he's really good at. Because everyone has those things. There's people who are decent at qualifying and horrible at racing, like me. There's people who are not as good at qualifying and great in the racecraft aspect of it. And that's kind of where Darth will fall a lot of times is when he gets out there on the track.
That's like the opposite of me. Horrible at qualifying and horrible at race.
I keep qualifying myself into the worst positions. Qualifying to Lobby A, so you race at the back of it. Qualify into the P1, so you race at the back of it. Like, I am the worst when it comes to hitting qualifying times. Like, I'm pretty good at qualifying. I can find a lap over the course of, a little bit of time. I just can't run that lap again. I can just do it the one time. But it's going to be exciting. I think all these classes are extremely close, assuming Inman doesn't lap the entire field with his alien time. I mean, I'm not 100% sure he's not actually in a spaceship, so we might want to double check that.
I'll check the BOP just to see if it's still, quite legal. Anyway,
I'm pretty sure he's put an extra turbocharger in that car.
Possibly. We've got 12 people watching this. We've only got 9 likes. Don't forget, give this race a like. And anyone that are new into this ARC, you can subscribe for this. If you want to take part in this, there's a link in the description. What else was there? Yeah, you just go into it. They welcome you with open arms. There's possibly a kiss as well from Mermaid as well. Get yourself in a couple of rookie races, and if you're deemed clean enough, you can enter into this championship or the other championships that ARC has to offer. So there we go, looking at La Bomba. Again, like I said, it's normally a good qualifying expert, but today, just not to be for La Bomba. He's just got to get the race strategy all right for him. Looks like a lot of people are starting on mediums though in the first stint here.
Well, I know La Bomba, similar to myself, being on the central/west side of the country and over here in America. Sometimes the practice races start just about 45 minutes before we're home. So he's probably on limited practice for sure. So being able to put down as competitive a time within, I think it was like 2 seconds of the top guys. I mean, it was better than I would have run for sure. I'd have been running closer to Law's times. I don't know why I keep making fun of Law. I love Law. But he ran a 2:03, so I gotta poke a little bit of fun at that.
There we go, we've got all 14 races in. Looks like the Bankers go for the soft tyres, is he? Is he the only one that's going to be a GT driver on a set of softs? Looks like he's going to.
2 sets. Like I said, they do get 2 sets of them. If you're doing the strat where you burn your fuel tank all the way down and you fill it all the way back up, it doesn't really matter where you run your softs as much. You might as well try to get out ahead of everybody and hope everybody else gets caught up in traffic. But if you are doing some sort of strat where you're only fueling up to about 60 or 70%, then you would probably want to save those softs. But we'll have to see how it works out.
It was the same strategy that won him the race at Blue Moon. So anyway, here we go. Then the 4th round of the ARC ALMS series, and this grid looks like this: Inman, Rascal, Charles, La Bomba, Law, Goofy, Merlin, J-Boy, Dominguez, Crow, Darth, Alex Gaiman, Baldy and Thunderpig. That's the 4 classes in there. I can hear someone revving their engine already to the max there. Trying to waste as much fuel as possible, and we will get the field underway. And again, it will be a whole formation lap. Then we'll get into double file then on the exit of the bus stop chicane just there. 20 corners in all in this track. And we're just waiting for the GT cars to get off the line, and then we have, I think it's like a 15-second gap, isn't it?
Between... About 15 to 30 seconds is the kind of gap they're looking for. Not so much that like the entire lap times and the amount of times you get lapped is massively changed, but enough that we can see each of the starts separately, and it does kind of give them less chances of running into, if someone makes a mistake early in the lap, they're not going to instantly fall into traffic necessarily.
So just looking at the tyre consumptions then, looks like everyone in the P1s are going for mediums. In the PC class, it is only J-Boy that's going to be using his set of softs. The other 2, Goofy and Maryland, will be racing on the mediums. In the GT class, Dominguez is on softs. Crow, Darth and Alex Gaming are on mediums. And then in the PCs, Baldy and Thunderpig, using medium tyres. So only J-Boy and Dominguez starting the race on soft tyres.
Well, J-Boy needs to take major advantage of those softs. Starting behind all these cars, every corner he goes through behind one of these cars is time lost because they're on mediums. Now, on the flip side, in the GTs, Dominguez starting at the front with softs. If he can just stay in front and get away from everybody, well, it's kind of smart because there's a real good chance that Crow, Darth, and Alex are going to be battling on the same tire, costing themselves times on that first stint, while Dominguez just gets to run away. And then it'll all come back together, but if over the course of the first 30 minutes, Alex, Darth, and Crow cost themselves 15, 20 seconds battling each other, well, that's 15 or 20 seconds that Dominguez got for free just by starting on a different tire.
Just right on board,
they are getting close to the stack-up zone as they come through Blockymon.
That's Puon. That's Puon, that is.
Oh, they're on Puon. Holy crap.
Yeah, you're a few corners there behind.
Crap isn't a cuss word, so I don't need to stop saying it. I stopped and was like, wait, am I about to cuss? No. It's not a cuss word. Maybe I'm just from the future. You never know.
Inman just weaving those medium tyres left and right, pretty much the majority of the lap. And like I says, he is the fastest in qualifying by nearly a second over Rascal. Charles third, LeBomber fourth, Law in fifth. I want to see Law's livery. I just love that. So I love that livery so much. Look at that, is so gorgeous.
This is a very nice livery. Got that. Oh my God, he's got the PS5 sticker on it. Listen here, Law. Listen here, Law. I need to stop hearing about this PS5 bragging about it. Till I get one, I'm just offended by it.
So maybe Law's got a bit of a target on his car now. If anyone hits him off saying, "Oh, you've got PS5, I don't." I'll put money on it then. £20. £20 if someone hits Law because he's got a PS5.
I'm sure he's not the only one. I'm sure there's a couple others. They just, they don't have to brag about it.
They don't brag about it.
They are stacking up.
Yeah, they just start stack up then.
Stacking up, right?
That's
right. We start on the other side.
Yeah, the other side, yeah.
Start on the old start-finish line, kind of, or is they? I can't even remember.
When it's endurance racing, it's always the traditional one, not the after the Lassos hairpin, just about going into Eau Rouge and Radion. So the field then. P1s then are just going double file. See if we can change camera angle. Unfortunately, we can't. Not a good one, anyways.
What happened to Darth?
Whoa, where is Darth?
I am not sure what happened.
The room.
Oh, that is very upsetting.
Now, what happens now then? What happens now?
I don't think anything. I think that's just bad luck. But the PCs are getting started.
Yeah, PC.
They're coming around right now.
And Inman can dictate the pace when he will get going. And off he goes. So here we go. Round 4 is underway. And Inman, LeBomber and Charles are side by side through Eau Rouge and Radion.
Here come the GTs as well.
And Law trying to go around the outside of LeBomber onto the Keble straightaway. He's got 4th place already.
Are starting.
Yeah, we're just looking at the GTs then as I'm trying. Here we go then. Yep, here they go. And Dominguez followed by Crow and the Baldy one now. So there's only 3 of the GT races there. Darth unfortunately lagged out, and I don't think he can get another restart, and Dominguez will have to stretch his legs because he is on the different tyre strategy. And all the others one, someone's already got a penalty already, and that is Thunderpig. Thunderpig burning his penalty on the Kemmel straightaway. There are 3 places to burn your penalty. That is one of them. Start finish line and at Paul Frere just before Blanchimont. So problem already there as Law looking really racy on
Charles had a big spine out of no name and got passed by the rest of them.
And Law's already up into 2nd place there, passing his teammate in the Renault Clio Championship on Rascal. And now LeBomber wants a piece of that 3rd spot away from Rascal.
He was battling on the outside there. He tried to kind of get a cutback going, but didn't quite get it to work. J-Boy's taking advantage of these softs. Through the first lap, he's already goes wide.
Yeah, went very wide there, out of Lefania.
Honestly, great catch to be on the track, but you got to remember these tires are dirty now, so got to take that into account. But he does have the softs, and he was working through the field pretty quick there.
And Merlin's dropped way back already from Gouffry. He's nearly 3 seconds slower than behind J-Boy. So I don't know if those two must have made some sort of contact or whatever. But anyway, meanwhile, back up from at the front there, and it's Inman from Law. What a good effort that is from Law on the first lap there, from fifth to second. Rascal third, the Bumper fourth, and Charles, the championship leader, down in fifth place. But he shouldn't be in any hurry whatsoever, as there is still another 1 hour and 23 minutes to go. But Law really looking racy.
Yeah, very much. I mean, Law's already worked through. Like I said, in the race, he's going to be flying, and he's already got a run here on Inman. That's surprising he went for this line. He could have waited and gone on the inside, but he's going to get the whole move done before the straight, so it doesn't even matter.
Wow, so from last in the PC class and 6 seconds still in qualified to leading the actual race there. ARC Law showing why he's one of the best racers out there in ARC at the moment there.
This is good for everybody in this class because Inman at first had the pace. Law has gotten in front of him, so if Inman is running naturally quicker than everybody else, then Law should be bringing him back into everyone. Or if Law's just really got his pace down here, this is trouble for Inman, as now he's going to get hounded down behind, and he's got someone in front of him giving him dirty air through, well, all the high downforce corners.
I don't think this will be a cause for concern for Inman just yet, though. There is like another, 82 minutes left, so, you know, still very early in the race, but already Law wanting to stamp his authority and say, you know, I'm here, even though I didn't have a bad qualifying, I'm leading this race. And meanwhile, the two Americans are battling now, close together, 4th and 5th, the Bomber versus Charles, as they make their way out of Stabilo 2 and then on to Pro Freire. And Charles looks like he's wanting P4. Goes to the outside.
I wonder how big Inman's gonna, or not Inman, Bombo is gonna make his car there, but
oh wow!
Blocking one is a tough one to go side by side through. I like that.
Yeah, that is Harry Flatters through there and all. Let's have a look then further back then through the field.
Oh, someone is. Law got a penalty, so he's gonna have to burn that on the straight, but he has nowhere to burn it here. He moves over to burn it finally.
Well, let's have a look at a replay, see how he got that penalty.
It had to be going wide going into blocking off. That's about the only place you can get it over there.
Oh, we had a 2-10 penalty there. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, if he got a 5-10 penalty, he put his left tire too far wide, opening up blocking on. It's the only place to get a half a second penalty.
He drove into
2/10 of the second penalties don't exist.
He drove into Inman. Now, I don't know if Inman may played a part in that, maybe got into Law just a bit that got him into it. But meanwhile, Rascal now is taking the lead of the race. There's already been so many lead changes, and we're only on lap 4 of this race.
Oh, Bomba's all over the back of Law as well. So this is all sorts of stuff happening in the front.
Oh, and he gets Robbie Wall.
Closing it down behind, too.
And watch out for Charles. He'll probably have a look on the inside at Rivage. No, he does not. Oh, but it looks like Charles has got through at Rivage. So, yeah, La Bomba made a little mistake. Whoa, Law jumping at No Name. I don't know if you saw that there.
No, I'm currently watching Alex catching up with Crow right now. And at the same time, Baldy and Thunder, who was about 3.5 seconds back just 2 laps ago, has already closed it down to 1.5 seconds. So Thunder's also bringing the battle back into GTCs. There's still a decent amount of time before any lapping happens, as the GTCs are in Eau Rouge, and the furthest away the P1s are is just coming onto the back straight, so everyone's got a little bit of time before issues.
Ronan saying, is it open lobby? No, it's not. This is a private lobby, and this is just a full-on race. Not unless you want to join the lobby and wait for 80 minutes for everyone to get off. You know, the more the merrier. Anyway, Rascal still leads. Inman second, but now there's a bit of a gap now with Law and Charles third and fourth, and the Bomber's starting to drop back a little bit in fifth. Meanwhile, Goofy is still leading the PC class there, and J-Boy not really taking full advantage on those faster tyres that he has on Goofy. And
yeah, I was watching him
6
earlier.
seconds back.
J-Boy, as soon as he catches up to him, the dirty air is making it really tough to get any moves done. So he's gotten it down under a second a couple of times, but then the dirty air kicks in as he tries to go for a pass or tries to follow through, and he ends up falling back. So the PCs definitely suffer a little bit from dirty air.
There's a look then at the leader in the GT class and the championship leader too. Dominguez 2 wins out of 2, still leading overall in the GT class and 9th in the race. Chromag now in 2nd and Alex Gaming in 3rd. Unfortunately, we were supposed to have Darth Nihilus as well. Oh, Crow just looks getting a bit jumpy out of Stavilo 1. And then we were supposed to have Darth, but then unfortunately he lagged out. And in the GTC class, Baldy 1 leads over Thunderpig by nearly 3 seconds.
Well, and with Alex running, he's actually in a fuel-saving strat. He is shifting about halfway everywhere, and you can even see over the course of 3 laps, coming up on the end of the 4th lap here, he's actually starting to gain quite a bit of a fuel advantage. So when it comes to pit stops, he's going to be gaining time on everybody ahead of him, as he is saving by far the most fuel. The P1's fuel-saving strats are all over the place as I scroll through them. Their fuel numbers are jumping everywhere.
They're pretty much just raised. They're just having a war, pretty much a war between themselves.
Yeah, I mean, so Charles is doing the best with the fuel saving. Inman also at about the same point as Charles is, and then you can tell Rascal's a little less on it. Law quite a bit less, and Bomba more like Law. So I think Bomba and Law are definitely revving the car out a little bit further than the other two. Or the other 3, I should say, as they do have a little less fuel currently. So they'll be getting some speed as the tires haven't worn much from the lower fuel, but they're going to lose that when it goes to the pit stop as they have to put more fuel in.
Times they're being quicker there. I think Rascal did have it there, but Inman just set it straight afterwards now. 157.
Alex has gotten by Crow. Crow must have had a mistake as well. I missed that.
Whoa! Alex sideways there. Not unless if Crow had to burn a penalty, which he did. I just seen his car ghosted, so Crow burned a penalty. So he must have shortcutted Radion and Eau Rouge.
Oh, it's an easy corner to accidentally go across and shortcut it, but so is No Name. There's so many just weird little spots you can pick up penalties around this track that it can definitely start to play a role as people are really trying to push the limits of the track and get the most time they can. But everywhere you go, if you put that 4th tire just a little wide of that white line, you pretty much get slapped everywhere around this track.
And the P1s are getting closer to the GTC cars. They're just exiting Puon, while the leaders in the P1s are just leaving No Name. So we could be seeing some lap traffic place very soon, within the next 90 seconds, and see who's going to be the big winners out of that and who will be the big losers. Let's have a look to see if J-Boy, he is starting to catch up now. He is less than a second away from Goofy, and you would have thought that J-Boy would have been would have passed Goofy earlier, considering he's on the faster tire.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's going to come down to where he catches him. Being outside of slip range here is probably the biggest win Goofy could have, because that means that even if he does catch up, it's not going to be until the end of the lap, basically. So you've got another lap ahead of him on the mediums. And to be fair, by the end of the 6th lap, and you're still holding out a person on softs, that is a great position to be in for Goofy. But he has closed down through this section. You would expect through these real high traction zones that he would definitely be closing it down, which he is. And the main thing is to not let the dirty air kill you. Be patient through here, because you're going to have the grip out of Pujon, you're going to have the grip out of the last corner onto the straight, you're going to have the grip through Blockymont, so you have a lot of places you can use those tire advantages. But if you try to get aggressive into corners, that's where that dirty air is just going to make it almost impossible to keep your car close. So you don't want to be too crazy through any of these, but you do want to use the grip advantage to really close the gap up so you can get a run out of here.
Yeah, I'm just seeing there the the P1s there. Oh, and Inman's had to serve a half a second penalty because he tried to lap Vanderbeek. And again, that's the GTC drivers there. They've got their own race. They don't need to move out of the way, because they've got their own battle there. Rascal manages to get by Inman, who served the penalty, but he still sits in second. And
Law catches at a terrible spot.
Yeah, that's it. Rivara, a downhill hairpin. He's managed to get by, I think. Will he get by? Yes, he does. And now Charles got to get by him through No Name. Law nearly lost the rear out of that corner.
J-Boy does get Goofy done, so now he really needs to start putting some clean laps down before they start getting lapped. I mean, you've got to make up for the time that you kind of lost getting this pass done, as it took a while to get the pass done. But Goofy's 50-50 is aware that he's on a softer tire. Like, because there's times you don't notice the tires of the other opponents, and you're just like, please tell me he's on softs. Like, where is this pace coming from? And that can sometimes make you over-push, and if you over-push and cost yourself a ton of time and then find out they were on the softer tire anyways, that can be a bad spot to be caught up in.
I was going to say something before the P1s catch the GT driver, said that the Bomber had made a mistake on that one lap there, and he's fallen way out of the top 4. 15 seconds he is away now from Charles, as he set a 2:10.075 compared to his best lap of a 1:58.9. So problem there for La Bomba early on, but again, still early days. There's another 74 minutes to go until the end of the race, and now he's starting to catch up with the GTC drivers.
Yeah, and to be fair, I'm not sure that in the GT class, Dominguez currently leading the way, getting blue flags into Eau Rouge and Rodillion. This is not where they want to catch him. If they time it right, though, the Rascal could get this move done in such a way he does it perfectly. What a move from Rascal, but Inman does it even better. Oh my god, that slingshot Inman just got.
He did.
That was next level slingshot through there. He like slipped a double slip and just went flying by.
Rascal had to check up though. On Dominguez at Eau Rouge.
Yeah, I mean, if you time it right like Inman did, it's a huge launch. And if you get it just a little bit wrong and have to lift, that is a lot of time lost.
So another lead change then.
Yeah, and Charles got by Dominguez as well, so he didn't lose much time. As a matter of fact, he gained through the traffic on Crow, but separate tires halfway through their fuel tanks, and it's only a 9-second gap. Crow's probably feeling pretty good about his current position right now because he's got 2 softs on him, so he's got the advantage on softs, and he hasn't lost that much time either. And Alex can't see the gap to Dominguez, so he doesn't know that he's also in a fantastic position right now, but Alex keeping toe of Crow right there, and with, I mean, they both have similar fuel. Alex a little bit more, but they both have quite a bit more than Dominguez, so they're doing what they need to do on this first stint to keep in touch with Dominguez right now.
Yeah, just see the gap there, 10 seconds he is there. Oh, Crow has got by Alex too, and now there La Bomba's getting by the GT drivers. Crow getting a little bit on the AstroTurf out of Stavilo 1, but keeps it going. May lose a little bit of time. Now he's just slowly putting it away from Alex.
Yeah, I mean, I know the position Bomba's in. It's the position I'm in every single one of these races, where your best bet is to keep it clean, not try to over-push your laps, run your lap times, and then just hope that absolute insanity happens in front of you. You're rooting for penalties on your opponents, that they have dirty passing that gets them like 10, 15 seconds of penalties. You hope they have incidents so that they lose time from damage and everything else, because those are usually your best bets at catching them back up, is major issues on their end, just because the pace, you know, our paces are similar, so we get to have some fun battles a lot of times, but when we're trying to keep up with Charles and Law and Rascal, you're pushing everything you can, and you're just on the edge for so long, it's almost impossible.
Rascal tried to get the lead back on Inman around the outside on the Lilfania chicane. Couldn't do it though, and while them two are battling, it's going to allow Law and Chucky to catch up there. The top 4 though, separated by just 2.5 seconds, and we're nearly 20 minutes into this race.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely exciting racing out there. Obviously, if anyone watching is interested in getting in it, just check the link in the description and you can get your test done and get into these things ASAP. I'm pretty much every race we've got a couple of spots available for reserves and things like that, so there's opportunities to get in. I mean, really, Alex and Crow are all over each other as well. So, like, the GTs are in a straight battle, and the P1s are still, the top 4 are all in touching distance of each other right now.
Yeah, they're just making their way through out of No Name. Crow again getting a bit wide out of the Astro.
Alex
Is that going to allow
thought
Alex
about it going into Puhan.
Yeah,
It's hard to make a move into this corner. It's so easy to like push someone on accident or not be able to get the grip you need and just cost yourself so much time. So it's probably smart to wait until a better spot. Or Alex might be fine just sitting behind him and fuel saving. Who knows? He might be playing for the long run and hoping they're keeping touch with Dominguez, who has done a very good job of separating that gap. Since I looked last, it's gone up 3 seconds. So now his time's getting a lot more into the range you would expect on the soft tires as Crow and Alex are kind of battling.
Law had a huge moment out of the La Source hairpin. Was there any help, or did he just nearly lost the rear? Here's a look. And here we go then. So going into La Source, did he put on the power just a tad bit too early? Might have done. Lost the rear. Charles did very well just to avoid that. So Charles up into P3 and Law relegated to 4th place.
Well, they all got by Merlin, so Merlin didn't slow any of them down because they all caught him on the straight. So good for them.
And now look at the top 4, less than 2 seconds. It is so close. Rascal's back into the lead now. The top three, though, literally nose to tail. Look at them all. Look at that Rascal. He's only 4 tenths ahead. Charles is just about a second behind the leader, and you've got Law there too, nearly a second away from Charles. I mean, this is really close stuff there, and they're going to be battling again. I believe that will be the other two of Goofy and J-Boy up ahead as they're making their way onto Paul Freire, where they are coming into Stabilo 1.
Oh, Crow's going defensive down the straight as well. So, again, Alex and Crow are kind of battling back and forth as well. So,
and again, the more time they battle, it's going to allow Dominguez to pull away. The gap now up to 12 seconds. So Dominguez is doing what he's doing, and it'll be a blessing in disguise to see that gap growing up, though, considering that Crow and Alex are all over each other.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting at least a second a lap, almost 2 seconds a lap on some of them. So he is getting a decent gain there across 9 laps. I mean, I'm sure he would much rather see that gap being closer to 20 seconds right now instead of 12 or 13. So I don't think that anyone's really in full panic mode yet, but...
Charles giving Inman a bit of a love tap out in the Saws hairpin, but they're now catching up to the second place in the Red Bull class, Goofy. It looks like Rascal's going to get by him fine. Sparks flying out of the back of Inman's car.
And Rascal's already separated up to a second and a half, so no slipstream advantage for anyone. This is what you want to do. You want to keep that gap out of slip range so that they can't just follow you around and then just save behind you through all the quick corners. And for Inman's case, he wants to push through as quick as he can because you want to get back into that slipstream since you're giving slipstream to Charles. It's like in F1, if you have DRS on a car in front of you and they have DRS behind you, it's hard to make a move. But if everyone behind you has DRS and you have none, you start to become a sitting duck real quick.
Now this could be a problem now for the P1s.
This is trouble for Rascal. Oh, this is a bad spot to catch him. Where's he going to go? Just backs out slowly and kind of patiently waits for it here. This is going to definitely let Inman close it up. I think it's probably going to save him the most amount of time.
Yep.
But at the same time, you're hoping that Inman has to get slowed up as well here by him because you definitely had to slow up. I think it was probably the smartest way to do it, save the most amount of time, but it did cost a little bit. And it looks like Inman's gonna get massively slowed up even more. So yeah, and Rascal Charles, with some amazing racecraft there.
Charles is gonna get a run on Inman now. So second place is under threat from Inman now. Blue flags there lighting up there. That would be for J-Boy trying to get by Law. And Inman going to the middle of the track trying to defend the second place there. These two are fighting for the championship though. They are first and second. Roles reverse in this race. And Law just about a second back.
Catch up. Law would, you could see how hard he wanted to get that slipstream. He was trying to get traction so quick out of there, and he actually did end up getting a pretty good run down here, so...
Yeah, that was because Charles
he needs that quarter of a second. He needs that quarter of a second mark, which he's inside. If he can keep it, he's going to barely lose it, maybe. Yeah, it's going to come... If he can hold through the pace through right here, Eau Rouge, he'll actually probably start gaining up on him. He slipped just out of it. Oh, that is brutal. And Charles has slipped, so that time's just going to go up and up and up down the straight.
Lap 12 out of this race, and we've needed on 30 minutes of racing. Rascal still leads from Inman, Charles in third, Law fourth, and the Bomber in fifth. Then leading in the PC class is J-Boy, Goofy second, and Merlin in third. Dominguez dominating again in the GT class. I'm guessing it'll be Cro Magna still running second. And Alex Gaiman sort of dropped off a little bit and still in the GT class there. Baldy leading Thunderpig by 7 seconds.
Well, I mean, watching J-Boy, he's pretty much done what he needs to do in his stint so far. He's gotten ahead of everybody. Like, sure, he'd like a bigger gap on Goofy for sure. But he's continuing to grow, and he's not making a whole bunch of mistakes. And for second place in the position, you can see that he's closer to, 22 seconds ahead of second, which is the gap he was really looking for. So as long as he doesn't make any huge mistakes here through this first, half of the first stint, definitely put himself in the position he wants to be in.
Law's actually dropped a bit back there. 2.3 seconds he's away from Chucky now. So Law's made a mistake. He's got a bit of some scratch works on the right side of his car. So I don't know if he's either kissed some barrier or what.
Pig's in, so Thunder's going to go ahead and make his first stop. He's still well over a quarter tank of fuel, so very interesting that he's coming in already here. He clearly has thought out some sort of strat right here, or he saw some sort of ability to undercut to try to close this gap down on Baldy, as the gap had jumped up to about 7 seconds at that point. Ooh, Alex picking up a penalty as well. Going to fall back from Crow.
That's not what Alex wanted there, but looks like he burned it there. He must have burned it on the chemistry,
yeah, I'm sure he
which
got
is fine.
it coming up Radillion, or Radion.
So he's just dropped a little bit further away there to Crow Magnon. Nearly 4 seconds he has now away from Crow.
I mean, the PCs still have a good amount of time, so the Red Bulls aren't going to come into traffic really anytime soon, it doesn't look like. He's still got a quarter of the track before he starts to catch up. Inman's back in the lead.
Oh, so here's a replay, and let's see what happened to Rascal. Oh, he just got like some sort of spin curb there out of Malmedy. That was an interesting one.
Well, Inman and Rascal are going 3 wide coming out. Oh, but Rascal couldn't quite keep it there as they went around Baldy. That looked like, I think Rascal saw the same thing I did. Like, if he can keep this 3 wide, he's actually going to take the advantage, but I mean, he's been able to keep touching distance there with Inman, which Charles is right there as well. And the more they get close in battle like this, the more it brings in Law, the more it gets La Bamba within the, La Bamba's only 25 seconds back, over 25 minutes in. So, I mean, losing less than a second a lap right now, that's absolutely amazing. But, you flip through the fuel of a couple of them, and a couple of them have a decent amount, and a couple of them have none left. So I'm fearing for the people who are having to pit before the 30-minute mark, especially considering they had a free warm-up lap, right? So you got 1 free lap on this stint, and you didn't make the 30-minute mark. It's going to be tough to make 30 minutes 2 more times, or 33 minutes 2 more times, where Charles, Rascal, and Inman. Yeah, I bet Bomba's going to come in too. He doesn't have the fuel to go another lap. So Law and Bomba are kind of in the same strategy right now.
Could have another lead change here, because Inman got held up behind
Rascal
Alex Gaming.
Oh, that is huge!
Wow, Inman has lost 2 places out of that, and he got held up massively behind Alex Gaming. Kind of like the opposite of what happened. Oh, here's another replay.
At Blue Moon, yeah.
At Blue Moon, yeah. And it didn't work in his favour this time.
Oh, and Charles and Rascal.
Oh! I tell you what, the people want to put on the show. And now Inman's in second. And Inman's back at the second.
Yeah, Charles and Rascal went side by side, and this is insanity right here. Crow's trying to hold his line.
Oh, it's got Inman!
Oh, that is a huge off.
Massive
Inman gets
moment.
It back. Charles is conceding it, so Charles thinks it was his fault. Charles also has insane damage on the back. How did Inman get no damage from that, by the way? And if you're in Rascal's shoes right here, you're looking at the time going, whoa, what just happened? But awesome.
Wow. I mean, I want to see another replay of that here. So Charles is lost second there to Inman. It's Rivage. Now into what's no name. Rascal gets by Crow around the outside. And I think, yeah, there was a slight bit of contact out of no name, but Charles got into the left rear of Inman, and then that's turned both of them around. But don't forget what happened at Blue Moon when Inman didn't allow Charles to get by Alex Gaiman.
Yeah, it was almost the same thing. And Rascal, when they came out, they were basically 3 wide with a Crow Magner just on the track as well. And there's not a lot you can do in that exact situation. So it looked like whoever got blocked up behind Crow tried to move inside to dodge him and moved into another car, and then just all mayhem broke out. And now, if you're in Inman's position, and you got to get that head down and realize you're still on your strategy. The gap isn't unattainable. It's just bigger than you would have liked it to be. Charles has already come in, so...
And this,
now,
and with that moment there, that could play into the hands of Law. Oh my God, he just did a pass on the grass at Goofy out of Blanchimont.
He predicted that Goofy would go on the racing line, and I guess Goofy's coming in for a pit stop here, but his tires are good, his fuel is good. I'm not sure, I mean, I don't know the strat for the Red Bull, so, he might be just matching J-Boy because J-Boy's coming in.
And I think, as predicted, I think Law will get into third place now, possibly second because of the incident with him and Charles out of no name. So Law could be into a net second place.
Yeah, I mean, and Law's kind of like, I mean, I'm sure he saw the gap jump, but he probably didn't see exactly what happened and how big it was. And when Inman goes in, he also ends up jumping him as well. He's going to realize that, whoa, Charles and Inman must have done something insane for them both to fall back this far, which, I mean, yeah, that's the multi-class. You got different classes at way different speeds and stuff. And yeah, it just absolutely kicked off there through no name. But J-Boy has put on a set of mediums. Interesting he didn't go for the double soft opener there, to be honest. Just really try to put that time big enough that you can kind of protect it. Because now if Goofy, which Goofy did go onto the softs, now you're in a position where you're going to get attacked by Goofy, most likely in the next, 7 to 15 laps, depending on paces. So interesting to start on softs and come off them. I guess he's going to try to hold the softs until last stint. And then try to attack back with them, but that's it's just an option as Inman's in.
Yeah, Inman will come into the pit lane, and
I don't know that Law's going to get there, but maybe.
He possibly could. He might be coming out just ahead of Law or just behind Inman. I think actually, when looking at it there, I think the gap was about 34 seconds, and Law came out 8 seconds ahead out of on Chucky. So 41 seconds it was between Inman to Law. So I think Law will just come out just slightly ahead of Inman.
They're putting the tires just now on. Fuel's going in for Inman. So
and Law's just coming out of the chicane right now.
It's going to be close between Inman and Law. I think Law's just found himself right back in this battle with the Miracle, although Rascal will be coming in as well on this lap, unless just absolute disaster strikes and Rascal runs out of fuel on this lap.
And Law is comfortably into second place there because there's no sign of Inman. He comes out in third, 5 seconds away now. So Law,
Law, that's what I'm talking about. Looking great in that livery too.
He did the short stop there, and it's paid off. But Inman going on
Law catches Alex. Oh, Inman and Charles are not going to have a good time catching Alex where they're about to catch him, though.
Quite interesting that Law is going to the set of softs, whereas both Inman and Charles are staying on the mediums. So they're going for a medium soft stint.
J-Boy's made the pass on Baldy, who, to be fair, both Baldy and Thunder are on the soft tires, and Thunder's closed this gap back up, so...
Oh, he has, yeah.
Baldy's probably, we kind of disregarded it when Thunder had fallen back a few seconds, but now glancing back down there, it's like, well, this battle is officially back on, as Rascal 0%. He knew exactly when he was coming in.
He ran on fumes then on that last lap.
To be fair, Law is about at the same place he was when I checked him for Inman, so I don't think he will pass Rascal, but he'll be within that 5 or 6 seconds probably. Well, he is on a purple lap right now. Purple lap with 1 sector to go. I mean, granted, it was by not 8 seconds, so barely on a purple lap, but on the purple lap. And yeah, Law's race pace is just next level good. He always knows how to get the car around the track at race pace. It's like he used the qualifying as his practice to get ready for the race. Rascal's putting the fuel in, so similar situation to Inman. I think he'll get out a little ahead of Law, but it's going to be close.
I think Law, well, he's just coming into La Sosta now.
I think Rascal's getting spit out right now. Law's going to be just ahead of him. Wow, Rascal...
Yeah, Law into the lead.
Lost so much time in that battle, and Law with the undercut. Granted, Law's fuel's never going to cut it. You got to remember, Law and Bomba are going to have to take one more pit stop than Rascal, Inman, and Charles. Although, technically, Charles came in early as well, so technically Charles might need another pit stop as well. So it might only be Inman and Rascal that are on the 2 stops.
Yeah.
Everyone else may need a 3rd stop or major fuel saving, as... one of the PCs, Goofy, right now is making his way through the GTCs, so this is a tough traffic thing. The pace difference in these cars can be a little off, but I think Goofy's going to be able to find a way. Oh, as Baldy runs him way wide, saying, no, it's my line. You're supposed to go the other way around, but he does get it clear. Does pick up a penalty. I was about to say, you can't go outside the track there. That is a 0.5 of a second penalty every single time, so... This is, again, going to be beneficial for J-Boy on the slower tire, and Goofy's going to have to serve this penalty here. He
which
does
he
serve
served
the
it.
extra time as well, yeah, because he
And
burned a little bit off in.
Baldy's
So
trying to
fair
get by.
play, but oh, is Baldy going to leave him space? He does. Okay, I was like, if Baldy cuts down there and blocks it, that would be detrimental for sure. But
Well,
yeah, so J-Boy's looking good right now.
I was going to say that might have been a mistake there for Baldy to give a lot of room to Goofy, because now Thunderpig could be within slipstream distance now of Baldy. And he's
Baldy's
catching.
actually getting lucky that Baldy's also getting slipstream ahead of him, because he's pulling away from Thunder because Thunder isn't, and Baldy technically is for a little bit. So that was sneaky of Baldy there. I haven't seen that kind of livery since, I don't know, 1984, Baldy. What are you doing?
Oh,
that's almost
like
before my time.
That's like the, let me see it again. Yeah, Camel. That's like the old Lotus, I think, livery from like the late 80s, early 90s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Only Baldy would remember.
What is impressive is Dominguez still has a 14-second gap on Crow, even though Crow is on... Wait, Crow just came out of the pit. Crow's only run... My bad. Crow's only run one lap. He's gaining. He's gaining 2 seconds on that lap. As everybody came in, except for Alex, who stayed a little longer, who's getting past, I believe that's J-Boy. That was a close pass.
Just seen Merlin losing now, Stavilo too. I ain't talked a lot about Merlin, but he's leading the class in the
Merlin's
BCs.
back into the lead, yeah. He is running it a lot longer on this first stint, and...
I was just about to say, has he pitted?
His strat might pay out. He hasn't, but...
He hasn't pitted yet,
clearly he's going to run... I have no clue. Is he going to go all the way up to 45 minutes and do this as a one-stop? If you were going to do that, why wouldn't you just run softs the whole time? Oh, he doesn't get 2 sets of softs.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to lie, though. He's got 25% left of fuel, so I think Maryland is thinking one-stop.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to run it up and do the one-stop. Now, very interesting that the other... Yeah, this is interesting. It's kind of thrown a wrench into the whole plan here, thinking they were all on a similar strat, just different tire strategies, but they're actually all on completely different strats, unless J-Boy and Goofy are running a one-stop and they just stopped on the other side of it, right? So, like, instead of running the hour stint that they can run on the back end, they ran, or the 25-minute stint or whatever, and then the hour and 5-minute stint on the other side. They flipped it, so it could just be a flip. They might be on a really long... Well, there's no way J-Boy's making another hour on... I mean, maybe. I don't know the fuel usage well enough on those. I wouldn't expect him to make another hour.
Looking at the battle
kind of gapping out here as well at the top.
I was just going to say, looking at the battle for the GTC class and Baldy and Thunderpig. Thunderpig is in slipstream distance now of the leader, Baldy. Half a second it is now, so Thunderpig... just runs a little wide out of Lacombe, so that he's going to cost him a couple of temps there. Now into Malmedy, and now Baldy one can maybe just stretch his legs and Thunderpig try and get his momentum back. Gets Malmedy a little bit wide. Keeps it going. Now into Ravage, the hairpin. Second gear. Just outside the slipstream distance just yet. They're coming in towards Pouhon. Here we go then.
Goofy going through Pouhon's about to be catching up to Alex, and then shortly after that,
and he's got a penalty, Alex. So Alex has got another penalty.
2 seconds. Where did he get that from?
Would that be out of Pouhon, maybe? Run very wide.
It had to be running wide out of Pouhon, or maybe he ran wide out of 2 corners in a row. 2 seconds is an insanely long time, but. To be fair, that's beneficial there for Goofy trying to catch back up to J-Boy, because what was supposed to be it was supposed to be a difficult pass getting around these cars that are similar pace just became a free pass, and now he gets to look ahead and realize, his next pass is Crow. Crow's up in the bus stop, so, someone was spinning at the bus stop? Or was I just getting some... No, I don't think so. I think I'm just seeing weird things.
Okay,
but... Goofy's already gotten it down to 6 seconds on J-Boy. J-Boy had to pass him naturally.
Law's got a penalty. He passed a couple of the GTC drivers there, possibly one of the outside of Blanchemont. Served the penalty though, and he's getting back going, but the gap is coming down to about 7 seconds there.
Where did he serve this penalty, by the way?
Well, it did say half a second penalty, but then he was braking into the chicane, and then the time was going down.
Law, you should bust that. If you can hear this cheering, you need to bust that penalty out properly, my man. Like, hopefully that you just don't know about the other penalty burn you just blew through and you're going to do it here. Because you can't burn a penalty into a chicane.
Here we go then. Battle reunited yet again by the looks of it. And look at the run that Charles is getting on Inman there. He's going to thread the eye of the needle. In between Baldy and Inman, and up back into P3 goes Charles. And now they're really catching up on Rascal. 3.1 seconds he is now away from second place Rascal and Charles. That was good opportunistic driving from Chucky.
Yeah, I mean, the P1s are definitely taking advantage of the other P1s going through Eau Rouge. As soon as they see they're going to come up on traffic, they're just like, yeah, I'm going to double slipstream you guys. As soon as you lift, I'm going to be coming just full steam ahead at you and just pick a line and go. And to be fair, it's been working. I mean, Law did put down the fastest lap of the race, so he is putting insane pace down.
But don't forget that he is on the set of softs. What is La Bomba on? La Bomba is still on the set of softs, but he's done his best lap of a 58.6. Yeah,
I feel La Bomba on mediums.
Yeah, La Bomba's on mediums. Yeah, so it's only Law that's on the set of softs in the P1s at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely wants to push on these softs and keep getting that gap up. You know, and you never really know.
Down.
Rascal and Charles and is Rascal on softs as well? Ooh,
Rascal's on mediums.
Rascal's
on mediums and is catching Law on no softs.
Granted, Law, it looks like he's been working on traffic, so eventually Rascal's going to have to work through the same traffic, and it'll come down to who can, you know, work through it better. But let's be honest, Rascal's use of traffic this race has been beyond phenomenal. Like, he has been absolutely dominating when it comes to the traffic, and everybody else is hit and miss, good here, bad there, where Rascal really has only been exploiting traffic against his rivals the whole time. So,
do you know,
I mean, that's what wins races in this.
Do you know what Rascal kind of reminds me of when you said about working through traffic? Alan McNish. Alan McNish was one of the best drivers in terms of working his way through traffic. I remember he did a sensational pass at Suzuka in '98 when he passed one of the Mercedes drivers who dominated the whole championship out of the that 100R, the flat out before the chicane. It was an unbelievable pass that was from McNish, and that is what Rascal kind of reminds me of.
Merlin is trying to find anywhere to get by this huge car of Dominguez right now, but he doesn't really have the pace, and this is kind of what I was talking about at the outset, is like, how do you find a way by when you don't have it? I guess this works if Dominguez ends up running wide. That definitely helped out. He was losing big time getting stuck behind Dominguez for as long as he did. And it's kind of let J-Boy close the gap down. It's under 10 seconds now. As, oh my lord, Goofy is getting attacked from everywhere right now. That is a 3-class incident going through Puhan.
And is Inman going to take advantage of it? Yes, he does. Into P3 he goes again. Here's a replay of what happened then. So going into its Puhan, stuck behind Pro Mac now. Goofy nearly losing the rear. In fact, he did lose the rear. Charles had to get held up behind. Inman goes around the outside of Goofy. And then Crow is in the middle of a P1 sandwich, and then up into P3 goes Inman. We'll have a look at it from Inman's point of view, actually.
Goofy still hasn't been able to get by Crow. He's only... Oh, is Crow's defensive against him? That makes no sense. You guys aren't in the same class. Move over. Follow the racing line. He's not even in the same class. But Goofy does end up getting back by Crow there. Oh, someone's off in the
Inman and Charles is off again! They made contact again! Well, here's a replay.
This is working out for Rascal and Law here.
Well, what happened here?
Not quick enough.
Oh, Charles gone into the back of him. Oh, wow. He really pounded into the back of Inman. Spins around and...
Oh, he tried to cut inside.
Yeah, he tried to cut inside because Inman got held up behind J-Boy. Had to back out at Blanchimont.
Yeah, those closing speeds are just next level. Now Charles has a couple of traffic ahead of him with Crow, and is that J-Boy or Goofy again? Is it Goofy?
Goofy
and like Crow and Goofy are working together over here, drafting each other in separate classes. I mean, again, Rascal with no idea what's happening, but the time between him and Inman just goes up randomly an insane amount again, so... I think Rascal's sitting in pretty if he can just keep his times consistent. He's already got decent enough times. And, I mean, considering what, should we expect Inman and Charles to have 2 more incidents? They've had 2 in 45 minutes, so it'll be 2 more by the end of the race?
I'm guessing, you know what, I think Inman's going to be a little bit hot with Charles after this race, I think.
I mean, I'm sure Inman will understand. He's, like I said, one of the sweetest guys in there, so I'm sure he knows Charles isn't out there doing stuff maliciously, but they just kind of keep catching each other in situations where someone needs to give, and they just don't have the personality to do that. So if you're not going to give, someone's going to end up, in the back of someone else, in the side of someone else, and it's kind of what's happened a couple of times. Now Charles is getting massively held up here.
Hi, J-Boy. So we're into the second half of the race then, so we'll give you a full rundown of the order. Law's lead is getting, slowly diminishing by 3.1 seconds now over Rascal in second place, and then Inman in third, a long way back after the incident in the chicane. 13 seconds he has away from Rascal. Charles, the two of them have made contact, still sits fourth place in class. Le Bomber having a quiet race by himself in fifth. Merland, who is not yet pitted, is leading in the PC class there, and he's got 7 seconds over the original J-Boy, who is getting caught up now by Goofy, who was on the set of soft tyres. He's running third in the PC class. Then dominating again in the GT class there is Dominguez. He has got a 10-second advantage over Cro Magna, who has got a 12 seconds ahead of Alex Gaming. And then in the GTC class, you've got the Baldy one ahead of Thunder Pig, but the gap has now gone up to nearly 3 seconds now. Law's lead is coming down ever so slightly there. Rascal has found some momentum here. Let's ride on board them with Rascal, making his way through Puon, the fast double right-hander, turn 12. Fourth gear it is there. He can see his teammate in the Renault Clio Cup Championship just ahead. And I mean, like I said, they were teammates in that championship. They're not teammates in this race. They're going to go hammer and tong for the lead. Now they've got a bit of breathing room now, but Inman is 13 seconds behind them. And now Estabilo too. They're 12,000 slower there on his best lap there. Actually, Rascal looks like he is the quicker of the two of them, because you can see the gap is slowly diminishing now. Need to come down to less than 2 seconds. So Law's lead, who was the first to pit in the P1s, is going to become under a little bit of pressure now from Rascal into the bus stop chicane there. Turns 19 and 20, and he can see that beautiful green Jaguar PS5 livery of Law just ahead. Looks like it's going to be another fast lap here. Yes, indeed it is. A 57.1 for Rascal compared to a 58.7 for Law on those struggling set of soft tyres. So we're going to be seeing the battle for the lead for P1 in a minute here, Jerry.
Oh, you heard me get back. Nice. Sorry about that.
That's
yeah,
fine.
I just noticed Rascal has closed that all the way down to a second. Oh yeah, there's no way Law, because Law's tires. So those mediums are probably a faster tire than the softs are right now. But that being said, Law's not in a terrible spot compared to everybody else, and La Bamba, Law's been pushing.
Merlin's into the pits to make his possibly his only stop.
It's gotta be. Like, why would he stop again if he could make it almost 50 minutes without? Yeah. J-Boy's been closed up here, and yeah, the tires on these Red Bulls just aren't gonna fall off, so to be fair, I might have just run softs the whole race. I mean, look at this wear on them. They're like half a tank down, and you can barely even see the wear. I mean, the difference between the softs and the mediums wear right now is negligible.
But I think it's a given that J-Boy and Goofy are going to have to make another pit stop, but it's Merlin isn't. So Merlin is not out of this race just yet.
No,
in his class.
I think Merlin's maybe big brain this. For sure J-Boy stopping again, but if you look at Goofy's fuel, still got over half a tank, only got 40 minutes. I don't think it makes it, because Merlin made it 49 minutes on a full tank to 0. So half a tank will probably only make it about 26 minutes, 25 minutes in that range.
Yeah.
So he is going to have to come in with about 15 to go if he runs it all the way down, but I don't think he'll change tires. Like, there's just no reason to come off those tires.
No, I don't think he will. No.
I think that's a benefit that he's going to have there over J-Boy's, the fact that he's probably going to be on softs the rest of the way, where J-Boy has to be on mediums the rest of the way. How's Baldy and Thunderpig? Still within 2 seconds. These guys just never seem to get out of touching distance. The Thunder just begging for him to make a mistake there. I like Thunder's livery. That is very clean. Puts way more effort than I did.
Speaking of touch of distance there, Rascal's caught up to Law, now less than a second and within the slipstream distance. Inman setting the fastest lap of the race on the set of mediums, a 156.6 now, and you can see Rascal really catching up now to Law into Lecombe. Misses the curb a little bit there, but it's, you know...
Inman's going to win this race even after all these incidents if he keeps this pace up, man. I mean... Rascal, I think, has by far the best chance as it stands right now, just looking at the strategies everybody's on. But man, Inman is so good.
Yeah, 10 seconds now. I think they're catching up to traffic. I think that might be the GTC drivers. They're making their way at the Fania chicane. Yep, that is. And the top two are pretty much nearly nose to tail. Law still leading, though, by just 0.6 of a second now. And Inman is really catching. And yeah, look at those lap times, so inconsistent. You can see why he lost a lot of momentum there with that incident in the bus stop chicane with Charles, and you can see the last 3 lap times: 158.1, 157.3, 156.6. He's back into the groove and he is catching on Rascal.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair with Inman, he's one of the only people I've ever seen who's driving a track like Bathurst and just in a full conversation that has nothing to do with anything and is still just hitting mark after mark after mark after mark. So when he's in a zone and you know he's probably not sitting there just chatting his brains out but fully focused, like, yeah, you can really see he's getting into a zone right now.
Law made a mistake there in the first part there, yet the old switcheroo and through into the lead, and that was because Law made the mistake in the first part of the chicane. Actually ran right out of Blanchard on that. Those soft tyres have cried no more by the looks of it, but yeah, just outbraked himself, and yeah, Rascal, the old switcheroo, Law trying to get back on the power.
See if Rascal times this right. Oh, Law, how are you going to do this? Oh, Law, wow, forcing Thunder to stay wide.
Oh, and Rascal had to
get a penalty for that.
He could get a penalty there, but he had to.
Wide.
Oh, but what Law?
He's already moving over for it. He knows it's
half
coming.
A second.
Look, yeah, he knew. Oh, and Law was right behind him. That's going to be a penalty for Rascal. I've done that before. Wow. Oh, that is brutal. As Rascal is prematurely, or he did the same thing. I've done this before, where you know you're getting a penalty because you know what you just did is a penalty, and you move over prematurely. Someone follows for your slip, and you break into him. Oh, that is a brutal situation because they don't necessarily know you're about to run the penalty, although they can see it. But
how awareness there was Law just to shoot back onto the racing line when Rascal served his penalty. That was insanely close then. I tell you what, very good awareness from Law to get back onto there to know that Rascal was going to serve his penalty. But, you know, it looks like it's not lost any time. The Rascal is catching up again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, nice. I blue screen for a second, but it was a fake blue screen. It went back to normal.
Okay, then.
Right,
Law getting Stabilo 2 out of shape. He'll need to pit very soon because those softs, I think if he can hold on for another 6 minutes, I think it'd be good to go into another set of mediums. But Rascal again all over the back of him, out of Blanchard and then into the chicane. Will Law make it break this time? Rascal goes to the inside of turn 19 and takes the lead. Law really didn't put much of an effort in, so Rascal back into the lead. And I think that's probably about the 30th lead change in this, the 27th lap.
Yeah, they've been flip-flopping everywhere up there as Charles is side-by-side with Inman.
Inman's less than 7 seconds away from this battle for the top 2.
Yeah, I mean, the huge incident they had on the straight after Radion was definitely helpful to Inman. And yeah, I mean, Inman's, it's hard to say that he's not going to find a way in this last 35 minutes to gain this time to end up getting back ahead, but it's one thing to battle someone who's on a, like, Rascal knows the strat Law's on. He saw when he pit. He knows that he's on a different strat. So you're not even really trying to battle that person so much because in Rascal's head, he's already got it beat. Like, if I'm this close to you, you have no chance. Oh, his Law is all over the back. Just trying to find anywhere to go here.
Maryland, that will be. Yeah, Maryland just gets by him.
As Merlin's battling back at him because they have the later break.
He tried. And I mean, the Red Bull cars do have some really good braking in those cars.
Yeah, well, that's the biggest issue they have, is they have the braking advantage, so they can brake later than the P1s into those heavy braking zones and even light braking zones. So they feel like they can start to go up the inside of you because you brake so much earlier than them, but they have nowhere near the acceleration. So as soon as the P1 gets back on the accelerator, they're just gone. So yeah, those are definitely some interesting positions to be in. And then like, I just feel terrible for Rascal. He goes to burn a penalty and gets followed into the rear. I've been in that exact situation before. Prej and I did that at Red Bull Ring, where I went to burn a penalty preemptively because I knew I was going to get it, and as soon as it popped, I braked, and he was right behind me, and we got lucky. I ghosted right as he drove through me, and also got lucky that Prej didn't go crazy off the track. But I know that feeling because in the driver, you know, you're like, oh, I got the penalty, so let me start burning it. And then technically you burn it dangerously like that.
Just
oh, Inman, why? Just go to the left, to the right. Inman, I don't even know how you saved that.
Right
you
in
had
the
tires off. He had two tires off the track going around Alex there. I don't know how he got his car to stop.
Oh, wow. Inman on the ragged edge. He is trying, isn't he?
Like, yeah, he's full pushing. I'm not sure why he didn't just go to the right of Alex. It's one of those deals where cars, this is why we say drive your racing line. It's so much easier to predict you because half the time you pass a car, they stay on the racing line. Half the time they get off the racing line for you, and you just don't know which way to go every other time by. So it's probably a situation where Inman's passed Alex obviously before, and the previous time Alex left the racing line open, so Inman assumed he was going to do that again, and he didn't do it this time, so that's why it gets confusing.
Yeah, you could tell that Inman was committed to go to that side there to get by Alex.
Bomba's coming in.
La Bomba's in, so that'll be his second and final stop, and he will go on to the set of soft tyres. Meanwhile, Law had a bit of a problem trying to get by Crow at Rivage.
I don't think La Bomba can make it on one tank 32 minutes. He hasn't made it 30 minutes yet.
Well, he's basically battling himself. He's not battling with Charles because he's 35 seconds down the road. So
I mean, with how many penalties some of these players are going to be bringing after this race, he is battling with half of them. All right, like he doesn't have a bunch of penalties that are going to rack up at the end of it. There's a couple of people in the P1s who definitely have penalties coming. So I would say he's got to keep the times close, but I mean, being clean and keeping it consistent out there might end up paying him dividends here if he can get this in one last stint.
There's a look at Inman then. Now the gap less than 3 seconds over Law, but they are all flashing red. So is Rascal has saved a hell of a lot of fuel. He's about 20%, whereas Law is running on fumes. He's pitted in this time by. Inman he's got no fuel. He's literally got no fuel whatsoever. And he's going to come into the pits right about now. He's probably got 0% of fuel in his car. Yep, he does.
Yeah, ran it all the way down. I mean, Law's right there in the pits just ahead of him as well at 1%. Rascal,
and this,
with Charles never going in.
And you know, this could actually
got this strap set up.
And Rascal could actually win this race because then he will make his pit stop and he won't put that much fuel in as much as what Inman will have.
And look how much longer Rascal can go. He's got almost a quarter of a tank, so he's got probably 3 more laps. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be going in, and he's going to be putting in literally almost a quarter of a tank less than the rest of the racers. And to be fair, I think Inman and Charles and Law have to fuel save on this last stint, where Rascal, like I said, he's got himself set up so that he doesn't have to do any crazy fuel saving to make it. He's going to be well over the 30-minute mark, which he's proven he can make. Like, I'll be honest, I was like, Rascal has a fantastic race. Yeah, they have to. They need to make it 30 minutes, and the tank only lasts like 28. Like, I have done enough to know where the tank lasts, and the tank lasts, if you're not like full revving, but you're also not like full saving, it's about 28 minutes. So to make it 30 minutes and a little extra, I mean, hopefully they're not using any of the fuel modes, but they're definitely like look at their shifting points. They were shifting super early out of the pits.
Yeah, I mean, basically, so they're fuel saving right now. They're fuel saving right now.
Yeah, they're going to use the whole stint. Yeah, if they want to make it to 30 minutes or over 30 minutes on a tank, they cannot be revving anything out but that 6th gear because there is no 7th gear. J-Boy's in. Goofy's staying out. He's still got plenty of fuel. J-Boy will be able to go the rest, though, so this will be his final stop as his strategy is now complete.
Yeah, and he will stay. He'll probably stay on those medium tyres, coming to think of it, because don't forget, he started the race on softs. And, you know, these prototype cars, they only have one set of softs in the day, and J-Boy was the only one to use the softs at the start of the race. So I reckon he could stick with that same tyres.
I feel like Crow should move his brake bias just a little bit to the back. Crow, I'm looking at Crow's tires, and he's definitely wearing the fronts more than the backs. but he might prefer having the traction out of the slow corners. That would make sense. There's a lot of like the bus stop and things like that. You don't want to like lose your rears because then you're really done. And I thought he was coming in here. Crow's going to run one more lap. Dominguez has 2 laps to go unless he runs it if he's running it all the way dry.
I would have thought Crow would have caught up on Dominguez, even though Dominguez is on the slower tyres, but he hasn't really gained that much. It was about 10 seconds, and it's now to 8.4.
I'm not so sure how good the soft tires are, at least in the Beetle, because Dominguez, who's run a full stint on mediums, has the wear that he has, which is going to give him about a 219. And you look at the softs and the wear he has, and Crow's also at the 219 mark.
Oh!
So Crow probably picks up a penalty for that. And doing things like that are also probably things that we've just slightly missed. That is he not going to get a penalty here?
Did he get away with it?
He got away with it. He must have kept like literally the edge of a tire inside that line, because that was as close to cutting as you get. So I think it might just be down to Dominguez is running a more consistent race at this point, where kind of like I said when Dominguez started on the softs and Crow and Alex started on the mediums, Crow had to battle for a lot of his first stint, and then even had to come out in traffic in the second stint where, as Crow's got Merlin all over the back of him.
And you know, Crow.
Neither one of them really makes a decision. Merlin needed to make the move because now he's going to be stuck through Pujon. And you know, if Crow doesn't miss the apex, he's going for the apex, but his tires are just dead.
The only problem is he's got the battle for second place that are catching up to them in a hurry, because Law and Inman are side by side. And Inman having a look on the inside, it's second bar of Pujon, and up into second place now goes Inman. So he took full advantage of it. Now they're going to get held up behind Merlin and Crow.
What are you supposed
out
to
of the
do
final
here?
chicane.
Where do you
Crow.
go? Inman knifing it. Look at Law trying to follow. Law's like, nope, I can't let him go here.
Out of Stavolo 2, just barely gets by. Little contact, yeah. Out of Stavolo 2. And Crow
I'm sure
running
Crow
very
saw
wide.
that was just like, I'm sure Crow saw all that and was like, thank goodness I'm in the slower class, because that would have been me up there in front.
Yeah, but you know what Crow's like. He's one of the most one of the most determined racers out there. You're gonna have to go somewhere where he's not when you tell where going by or whatever. Meanwhile, Rascal is into the pits to make his last stop. It's gonna be interesting to see where he will come out, presumably ahead. And he's fueled all the way to the top right now. So Rascal will retake the lead.
Running it. He will not be fuel saving. He is going to be revving it. See, everybody else came out of the pits and put it instantly into 6th gear to even get the little fuel saving down this part. He revved out 3rd, revved out 4th before he started short shifting at 5th, which makes sense. 5th is a longer gear, and you got a turbocharger on these things, so the lower you do the RPMs, the more the turbo, so you would want to drive the car exactly like that to really get the most speed out of it. So someone knows how their car works. Way to go.
All of the GT drivers are in the pits. Dominguez in, Alex and Crow pitting. Dominguez got 2%, Alex got 5%, and Crow on fumes. And still looking to lead for the GTC class. Baldy one, leading still over
right there,
Pig.
touching distance.
Yeah.
The entire GT class, I love it.
Yeah, the only 2 cars in the field. It would have been nice to see if a food bar would actually catch up with them, see if he would make some sort of race out of them. But Thunder Pig keeping Baldy very honest. I think
I'm looking forward to watching that B lobby, to be honest. I can't wait. No one can post it because they're 90 minutes. Well,
you're not posting a 90-minute race.
Nah, 60 minutes is the most you can do, I think.
Oh, okay. Right, let's have a look at Merlin then. So let's have a look. This one-stop strategy that he's doing. He's 17 seconds behind J-Boy. And he is just let Inman go by. Lost a lot of ground. 2.7 seconds now he's away from Inman. So,
Goofrey has to pit.
I've just realised that Law is on the slower tyres. Inman's on the soft. Sorry,
yes.
Go on.
Yes. Well, I was going to say, what's interesting here is Goofy still has to pit, which it'll come up here in the next 5 to 10 minutes. He's got a gap currently that is about what the pit window has come out to be, although he won't be fueling all the way up. So I think his gap is good on J-Boy. I think he'll just stay on the soft, so he'll save those couple of seconds by not changing tires, and J-Boy will still be on the slower tire. But J-Boy won't be stopping again, so Merlin on the softer tire has 24 minutes to close down 17 seconds in order to find any way into that second place, which he definitely can do. He's running 3 seconds a lap faster right now. Just
Yeah,
under
a
3
2:11,
seconds.
a 2:11 that was there from Maryland. So he's getting the get-go. I've just noticed that he's about 54 seconds behind Goofy.
Yes, so Goofy is most likely okay on Merlin through this stint. It kind of depends on how Merlin closes everything up and how Goofy does, although, to be fair, Goofy had the mistake at Sabuka, which cost him the race, and it seems like he's having none of that so far. So he's had one of the better races, even though he's been kind of getting manhandled through all the traffic through Pujon and stuff like that. But even then, you can just look at his times and know that there's times in there where he was getting in traffic, which is lap 20 and 21, obviously. Still managed to run a pretty decent lap. And then you look at like J-Boy, who 2:08 into a 2:14 through traffic, so losing a lot more time in traffic than Goofy is. And that's really just a testament to how good Goofy's handling both the slower and faster classes that he's having to deal with. As Charles makes it around. Was that Thunder? Yeah.
That'd be Thunder, yeah.
That's cost Thunder some time, though, so Thunder's kicked back a little bit. I think Thunder needs Baldy to have some sort of an incident to really bring it in. Baldy's times are just like an exact example of tire wear, if you look at them. It's just like, that's tire wear, and then obviously either a massive incident or, I'm assuming, a pit. And then it's probably going to be the same thing. Baldy's consistency here has been beyond impressive.
Yeah, you just see the tyre wear from 18 to 24, 220 point whatever it was, 221, 220.9, 221.6, 222.3, 222, 222, yeah. But he's actually stretching his legs now, over 4 seconds over Thunderpig. That would have been probably from the mistake that, because I think also that Law was stuck behind Thunderpig too, so maybe them two lost a bit of time. But I'll tell you what, Inman is absolutely flying there. He set the fastest lap, 155.884, and the gap less than 6 seconds. Looking at Charles' gap to Law, and it's about 5.3 seconds. And don't forget, Law is on the slower tyres, so Charles could potentially get third place here, and he's got time to do it. There's 22 minutes left, so it's just a matter of when.
Law's not going to let any passes go easily, that's for sure. He's pretty good at playing defensive here, so, I mean, I'm sure he notices the times coming down. It's going to be tough to defend on mediums versus softs, though. That is going to be a very difficult spot to be in, as, you know, he's really got to just kind of hope for a little bit of errors, Charles, to lose it off. But I think Charles definitely has the ability to close that gap down over the next couple of laps and be right in Law's grill. As about the same for Inman. Inman not quite as quick on Rascal. It'll take him longer. He's going to have to keep the consistency up. Rascal's got to keep the consistency up. And then Rascal's already catching traffic. So again, a big jump is going to be determined by how well does Rascal deal with the traffic and how well does Inman do. And they both have been masterful at it, to be honest. You know, I think Rascal's maybe been a little bit more consistent with the traffic, but he's a little bit more cautious with the traffic, I would say. He's making sure his passes are clean, where Inman's been a little bit more...
He's more erratic.
He's been more just send it and, you know, find the spot through, which has worked out a lot of times, and then a couple of times that, you know, I didn't see him well enough to know whether Charles was also helpful in those things as well, but he's definitely closing the gap down. But traffic will play a big role here, as I would assume they're probably going to hit all these cars about one more time over 20 minutes.
Yeah, just seeing that Alex moving out of the way there. Must have burned a penalty, made a mistake at Eau Rouge and Radion, so blessed in disguise there for Inman not to get held up from Alex. And Brasco also just passing the PC leader there, Goofy, who is going to be pitting this time by. Now, what is the gap then between J-Boy to Maryland? It is 14 seconds, 15 seconds now. And Maryland's down to about nearly 50% of fuel left in his car.
Well, he can make it, for
sure. Yeah, he'll make it, yeah. But
he's probably good on fuel, but he definitely lost some time that last lap. I'm assuming it's probably traffic. It's usually what causes about a second of lost. So, but yeah, Merlin needs to get that head down, because you need to gain a second a lap for the rest of this race if you want to have any real chance at battling, because it takes more than a second to pass someone. So if you can gain a second a lap over the next 14 laps, for the next 14 minutes, I guess he needs to gain a second a minute. That is going to be really difficult, actually. not undoable, but he's definitely got to start pushing. Is to be fair, J-Boy has had a fantastic strategy and a fantastic race to this point as well.
He has, yeah. And I'm genuinely surprised that Maryland does not catch up to him, to be fair.
Oh, Goofy has 0 fuel. As a matter of fact, he just ran out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, he didn't. No,
he's in now.
Back up over 50. He was just going slow.
Do you think it'll be a tyre change looking at those tyres? I mean, could be a bit iffy.
It's not long to put on tires, so I wouldn't be surprised, but, I mean, that would be a blessing in disguise for Merland if he can close the gap up on J-Boy, because J-Boy should be getting pretty close to Goofy here for this final stint. And if Goofy goes on to the mediums, then they'll be on the similar tire. Well, we'll see if they change the tires. Goofy just jumped in. I'll watch for that.
Looks like
they are not making a tire change. He is keeping the softs on and going straight to the fuel. So I think that's smart. It's going to save time, and he's going to be on a faster tire.
And it won't put in as much fuel.
I don't think J-Boy will come out ahead, but since their tire wear is similar, I don't think J-Boy's times are going to quite... oh, wow, yeah, he's out with plenty of time, plenty of fuel, so...
Yeah, J-Boy crossed the line there. Yeah, so... Yeah, I'm just surprised that Maryland has not really caught up to J-Boy. He's still 14 seconds adrift from him.
Inman's fallen back a little bit here on Rascal. He must have had to burn a penalty or made some sort of mistake, as it was 5 seconds, I thought, last time I checked, and now it's over 7.
And just looking at the fuel too, look at the fuel as well. He's down to roughly 55%, whereas Rascal is about maybe 66% maybe. So I think Inman is going a little bit strategic here and maybe going short shifting to maybe go the rest of the way, and hopefully luck will be falling on the side if Rascal makes a mistake.
Yeah, I think Inman, Charles, and probably Law, they've been on the fuel saving strat, because if you look at Law's fuel, he's right at 50%. That would mean 17 minutes left in the race. Then you would need to be able to go about 35 minutes on a tank, and that is tough to do. So I wouldn't be surprised if Law has to splash and dash on one of these pits, and that would be detrimental. And La Bamba has to pit again. Like, his tires and fuel, I don't think are going to make it, as everyone else is over the 50% mark, just under it for Law, and they are definitely in fuel. I think all the P1s right now are desperately fuel saving, and to be fair, if La Bamba does a splash and dash as a guarantee and everybody else runs out of fuel towards the end of the race, you just never know. Crazier things have definitely happened. But yeah, there's no way Inman isn't fuel saving, and Rascal has masterfully strategized this race, because he is not having to worry about fuel in the slightest right now, and I'm pretty sure everybody else is spending half the lap staring at their fuel doing calculations.
Would you say this would be quite a surprise result there, considering what Inman was like in qualifying, nearly a second ahead of Rascal, and barring the problems that Inman had at, out of no name and at the bus stop chicane, I just feel this is a bit of a surprise result here, because, Rascal, like I said, it's been a full second behind. Yeah, the P1s, yeah.
I don't know that you would necessarily call it a full-on surprise. Rascal has the pace of some of the absolute fastest drivers. He has the racecraft of some of the fastest drivers, so he has everything necessary. If we were just to say off qualifying, yeah, you would not expect someone to be a second behind, but to be fair, that's why we do the races, because race pace is different than being able to put down a hot qualifying lap, and when we have 4 classes out there all battling their own races together, your ability to maneuver through traffic is, and you can see it in different people as well, where there's people who are just absolutely dive bombing to try to get past. They got to make the move as soon as possible, and it's actually in the long run costing them more time than it does for Rascal, who has just been like, well, this is a bad spot, I'm going to lift, I'm going to let this person turn in, and then I'm going to beat them out of the corner. And because, 90% of the time you make the dive bomb, you make it stick, and you're fine, but then 10% of the time that person turns into you and spins you. 10% of the time the person behind you checks up into you. It really works out to be an endurance masterclass, and so far Rascal's really shown that he has that ability to drive in these endurance and multi-class races to the next level.
He loves them, doesn't he? He loves
I don't know that I would call it a surprise. I think it's just a happy accident.
Yeah, whenever there's an endurance event, it's hard. that's wanting to happen. It's always Rascal that organises it, isn't it? Because he just
Charles
has his love.
law.
Yeah, and as predicted, Charles getting a little out in the AstroTurf out of Malmedy. But yeah, Law on those mediums, he's going to have to do very well. But we've seen Law before in the AGC with him battling for the win on the last lap. He'll try and defend his heart out to get to stay on the third place. We know he is a very fair, very clean racer when it comes to defending his position. So he's got to do it now on Charles with 14 minutes left in this race.
I mean, that is an insane amount of time to defend mediums versus softs, although, to be fair, the softs are getting pretty worn on Charles's end, but, I mean, I think Charles is going to have the grip out of either this upcoming set of corners, or he's going to have the grip out of the bus stop chicane to probably get this done. So, Law needs to be very aware that you can't block both sides of the track, really, and it's not here. He didn't quite have the traction or the distance, but he's going to pull right up into Law's slipstream, and then I think the bus stop chicane might be where he gets it done.
Yeah, he's just setting himself up
right in there.
Not going
if he
defensive.
Gets the right gap, which he did. Yeah, he could definitely set up a nice exit here to get Law into the Lost Source corner. But I don't know if he's actually close enough. Oh, and a big wheel spin there as he tried to get traction.
That's always been Charles's problem when it comes out of the bus stop chicane or last source. He's always a bit trigger happy on the pedal and just gets the rear out just a teensy bit. Like there, you see, and that's going to lose him a little bit of time there on Law, although, to be fair, he's actually catching on Law.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of wheel spin can be quick. You don't want to whip left then right. If you just see the whip to the left and then the realign, that's usually being quick. If you see the left, right, left thing, that's usually where, as Charles gets right up in there and close the track off Law, brake late. Oh, and that's going to be all he wrote.
Yeah, he's through there.
There's no way to outbrake the softs. That was going to be real difficult. So now it's all about maintaining that gap. If you can somehow keep in touching distance through these insane corners, use traffic to your advantage, you can potentially give yourself a shot as the softs will start to wear out, as this is a bad spot to catch Thunder.
Oh, Thunder's lost it!
Way wrong.
Thunder lost it way out there, out of Rivage there, and that could have been a near problem for Law.
Yep, Oh, Rascal makes the move on Merlin. Clean. It was close, but clean. And I don't think Merlin's going to have enough time to close this gap up to J-Boy. I think J-Boy's strategy here has masterfully worked out, and outside of a fuel issue or anything else, I think that they're kind of in a good spot. I mean, fantastic from J-Boy so far. An hour and 20 minutes in, and he has been absolutely masterful in this PC class, and then Goofy really making
just
a statement
in the league
about,
of his own.
Nah, that was just a mistake last week. Don't you guys get any misconceptions that I'm not going to dominate you.
Well, don't forget what happened to Blue Moon. He won the race by like 50 plus seconds. So yeah, it's just a walk in the park here for Goofy to get his second win in the class.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're sitting in like Thunder Pig spot or, sitting in J-Boy or Merlin spot, you're really crossing your fingers that traffic plays a major issue on your competition. But to be fair, for the most part, everyone's been quite respectful, following proper procedures through the traffic and, giving each other the proper amount of space when it's earned. And so, I mean, realistically, is anyone trying to throw their race away in the last 10 minutes on traffic? Hard to say, although Rascal is all over the back here. So Rascal just masterfully did not overpush, didn't try to dive bomb the corner even though he could have. And he ends up getting the pass done clean. And man, his gap on Inman is getting
bigger,
impressive at this point.
Yeah, 11 seconds. Yeah, so
I mean, yeah, I think Inman and Charles are not there, and Inman can probably make it. Charles is getting a lot closer to not making it. Law is on the edge of not making it, like for sure. And yeah, Bomba's coming in at the next lap or so.
Yeah.
So I don't think Bomba's going to quite. Yeah, he's going to have to come in for. He's going to have to come in for the splash and dash, and really hope that other people run out of fuel, because if they're going 50 miles an hour around the track with no fuel, you're going to get. I mean, you can make up like 40 seconds on someone who's out of fuel on this lap, because it's going to take them like 4 minutes to run around here at 50 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's just not gone right for La Bomba. Made a mistake early on and has not really, fully got on with it, unfortunately. But still, it's still good to see
you,
LeBomber out on track.
As long as he doesn't end up getting lapped on his splash and dash, which I don't think he will, he's a minute 6 out. His splash and dash will not take 50 seconds. So if he doesn't get lapped and anyone else runs out of fuel, he'll pass him. Like, if they're on a lap and they don't run out at the very end, you got to realize 50 miles an hour is the speed you're allowed to go when you have no fuel. You will take 4.5 minutes to get around this track without fuel.
Just looking then.
So he could close it up if that. Well, I was just gonna say he could still close the gap up if he doesn't, if he just keeps his head down and anybody else is in a situation where they let themselves run out of fuel.
We're just seeing there, looking there at Crow, still running second in the class, but he is starting to slowly close the gap on Dominguez, although it's just slightly going up now. 8 seconds with about 8 minutes to go. It's just looking quite onerous for Dominguez to get his third win in a row in this class and maintain his 100% win ratio.
Getting massively held up by Alex, but kind of fine for him. He's got a big enough gap that he doesn't have to be aggressive or crazy about any of these. He's kind of, the gap's definitely large enough that he doesn't have to do anything too crazy on these passes that gets him wrecked. As long as he doesn't put a tire off or run into someone, he's pretty home free here with 8 minutes to go. He's sitting on, 5 laps left in the race at best, maybe only 4.
4 to 5, yeah, roughly.
He's just patient with all these passes, and it's paying dividends. I got a yellow flag. Someone went off. Oh, J-Boy went off. This is going to be detrimental.
That's not what he wanted. That's not what he wanted.
Merlin's right there. He can see him now. And now he's in traffic with the P1s and has a little bit of contact with Law.
He just lost it big time at P1. He must have hit the AstroTurf at P1.
Bomba did jump in, threw on new tires, splashed the fuel. So, Bomba's in a situation where he needs someone else to run out of fuel and let themselves run out of fuel. But watch out for the PCs. Yeah. Merlin on the softer tire is right there now.
Oh, if that would have been real life, that would have been a nasty accident for La Bomba, especially some back-end damage. Yeah, he did clip the Astro in the middle of Puon, and that's what spun him around. So now he's going to be under a little bit of pressure, and Merlin will see the gap close down, and then he can definitely smell blood. So we're going to be seeing a battle for second place in the PCs now very soon, I reckon, if Merlin can just catch up ever so slightly. But he's there now. He's literally there. Original's going to be hurt by that.
Merlin knows the tires that J-Boy's on, because sometimes you can't see what people pit in, because when they pit, they drop down the fuel or you go up and stuff like that. But I wonder if he knows that he's got the tire advantage right here on him. Because that's just... this is going to be a battle all the way down. 6 minutes, it's going to take him a little bit to close it up. This could be down to the wire in the PCs for that second position, as Goofy just saw the time skyrocket and just said, victory laps. All you have to do is not drive off the track for 30 seconds, and he's going to be sitting in a good spot, and make sure, none of the blue flag cars coming up behind him destroy him, and he should be good to go.
Absolutely flat out on the Kebble Street now into Lafania. He's 2 tenths up now, so he's not fuel saving. He wants that second spot. Just getting Lafania a little bit out of shape, and also out Malmedy a little bit out of shape too. So he's trying. He's definitely trying to catch up to J-Boy just ahead. Maybe slightly missing the apex at Rivage.
It's going to be a battle in the PCs. He's definitely trying to close it down. It's weird. You would think the time difference between these tires would be more than they seem to be. When you kind of look at the people on softs, they're running 212s, 211s. You look at the mediums, 212s, 213s. It's a very tight thing, even though there's wear on them. So I guess they do just have about that second. And, Merlin just needs to sniff out that slipstream. Once he gets the slipstream, he can then take time to plan how he wants to make the pass. But, be careful about curbs. Whew.
Yeah, there's a few people that had an auto spring curb. Rascal had it earlier in the race, which lost him the lead. It's about what the La Sauce hairpin. Let's see where that is. Let's look at Law.
Burn your penalty. Okay, he's burning his penalty. Somewhat.
Who was that?
Well, if you got it in the P1s, if you get a half-second penalty out of blocking off, which he ran wide there and got it, you can't stop yourself from burning that half-second off into the bus stop. So he pulled over the side to burn the half-second penalty because it had already accidentally burned on its own.
Like it was at the chicane. Oh, Merlin! God.
Purple.
Could have thought he lost the rear straight out of the last source there. Ooh. 4 minutes and 30 seconds left to go. Gap 1.1 between J-Boy and Merlin. That's just about for second place in the PC class. And there's a lot of movements and shakers down at Rivage there. Let's see where that is. That will probably be where Goofy and that lot is. Yes, indeed. And there is Crow. What's the gap between Crow to Dominguez? It's 11 seconds. So it looks like Crow is going to have to settle yet again for P2, and is going to let Dominguez get his third win in a row, depending if Dominguez's fuel is okay, and it looks like it is.
I am very surprised Merlin hasn't closed this gap up any more than this. I mean, it's getting there, but when I saw him coming out of the, down in the back straight through blocking on, he was like 1.2, and now through La Source and all this, he's still sitting right there around that 1.2, 1 second range, so definitely, I mean, it's kind of nail-biting here at this point because it takes a little bit to pass someone. You don't just pass instantly.
He's at the Astro. He kept it that
dangerous.
time. Yeah, he kept it.
But again, it's just J-Boy's running consistent laps. He's not making those little micro errors, and it's making it difficult for Merlin to close this final gap up as he has the advantage. He's got lower fuel, so his car's lighter. He's got better tires. He's got softer tires. He's got all the advantages you would need. Just got to really pull out that consistency and stop touching that. You got to stop touching those curbs. Those curbs cause you to spin.
Yeah, that's 2 laps in a row. He's gone out of Stabilo 2 and lost the rear out of that corner. And the gap again back up to 1.2 seconds now. 2 minutes and 50 seconds left on the clock now.
About 2 laps to go, roughly.
Rascal.
Maybe a third.
Yeah,
up to 20 seconds.
2 laps left, I think, for that battle for 7th.
Inman has saved the heck out of some fuel because he now has double the fuel Rascal does. Rascal now is actually, he just went to 2 laps remaining on fuel. There's about 2 laps of time remaining because he's going to do this one and then one more and end. So I think Rascal's timed his fuel just perfectly, but Inman now has all this extra fuel and he didn't actually need to fuel save this much, it doesn't seem. As Law is close to running out. He's going to have to fuel save, or he would. So Law's definitely been in full fuel save mode. But I'm telling you, if Law runs out of fuel halfway down the lap, it wouldn't be unheard of as long as La Bamba doesn't get one of those weird, which he might because he hit the line at 57 and he's running 58. So I was like, if La Bamba gets that weird thing where he doesn't get the final lap of everybody else because you end at the timer, not at the finisher, it's like if Law runs out of fuel, La Bamba will catch a minute 6. And 50 miles an hour is very slow.
Just again looking at the battle for second again. Merlin, J-Boy get on the Astro out of no name, but the gap is slowly coming down, and Merlin has got to make a move sometime very soon as we're down to less than 90 seconds.
I mean, he's got 1 lap to close down this. He needs slipstream. He needs to masterfully use this Alex that's ahead to slow down J-Boy, hopefully, and close that gap up. He's now right at the slits. J-Boy goes wide. This is going to let him get right in there. Alex concedes and says, nah, this battle's worth it. I'm not messing with any of this stuff.
And J-Boy lost the rear. J-Boy lost the rear. There's contact. And through into second.
Merlin gets through into second, and they're going to have 1 more lap, though. J-Boy can hold on to slip.
I think
and if he can get back ahead of him, he can block through the entire slower part where the advantage for Merlin's going to be.
J-Boy lost the rear out of Stavilo 1, and that was enough to let...
He's coming back.
So close.
He's got the slip. He's breaking late. On the mediums. He's spinning up the outside.
Merlin just saying, no, you're not getting through there. 25 seconds left to go. So they got 1 more
got on
lap
the throttle so early trying to get anything, but they do get the last lap in, so... It's good to know as Rascal's going to be finishing this lap for 44 for him. Is J-Boy? He's got to hold slipstream distance. You cannot lose slip against the softs, and he somehow managed to barely hold it, and it's starting to close back down. He has to make the move into Lacombe's. If he can't somehow get in there, the softs are going to be so powerful through that whole back section that there's not going to be anything he can do, but he's got a good run.
Law's off. That's out of, what's that called again? Malmedy, I think that is, yeah. Anyway, Rascal wins his first race of the season there. Absolute dominant display. He's actually out of fuel. He actually timed that run absolutely to perfection. La Bomba crossed the line in 5th, so that's 2 of them that's crossed the line. Let's have a look at the battle there for 2nd in the class there.
J-Boy's right here. It's all we see him go defensive. Merlin's going defensive. This is a tough corner to go defensive in. You can get switched back on so easy.
He might compromise.
Oh, he cuts it off. What good move.
He parked the bus there on the inside there. Inman crosses the line in 2nd.
Chucky without the mediums, J-Boy has to just plan for a slipstream pass. He's not going to have the grip unless there's a mistake. It's finally Merlin stays off the curb, so look at that advantage he gets with the grip.
Baldy crosses the line, dominating as always, winning the GTC class.
They're catching traffic, it looks like, as well. I wonder if Thunderpig's going to come into play down here on this final straight.
We're just seeing a look there at Thunderpig there. We're just waiting where Dominguez is. He's just making his way out of Blanchimont and into the chicane.
Thunder moves out of the way as well. No, I'm not blocking you guys. You do your own thing.
Thunder's
it's kind of frustrating if you're in original J-Boy's position because you're like, hold your line because I need you to slow him down. It's really frustrating to see people do that. That's not what they're supposed to be doing.
Dominguez wins the GT class, makes it 3 wins out of 3. Law just spinning it out of the bus stop hairpin. Bus stop chicane, sorry. Crow will cross the line 2nd. Law, absolute nightmare lap that time. 2:35. But let's have a look then at the battle for 2nd place in the Red Bull class. And it's going to be Merlin that's going to hold on for 2nd.
Merlin
J-Boy
comes back and gets that 2nd place.
And we just seen Goofy just cross the line there to get his 2nd win in the class there. But what a race that was there, Jerry. I absolutely enjoyed that.
Well, so if you check Alex, he's run out of fuel. So if La Bomba had been on a final lap, and one of the P1s was going this fast, he would have gained, he'd gain 10 minutes. They're never even going to reach the finish line in the amount of time that the race has to end it. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those things where everyone's still in it, especially when you're trying to invest fuel. But, I mean, what a battle in the PCs. Merlin just kept his head down the whole time, didn't let any of those big gaps scare him, and he ended up getting up into that 2nd position there.
Well, absolutely entertaining racing all throughout the field there in the P1s, the PCs, the GTs and in the GTCs. But well done there to Rascal. First win of the season and faultless drive. Worked his way through the traffic masterfully. Well-deserved win, don't you think?
I mean, Rascal, fantastic win. Beyond amazing. Goofy, just really making sure everybody understands who's dominating this PC class right now. Dominguez has kind of been doing nothing. I feel bad that Darth got DC'd out because I'm sure Darth could have been right up there with him, battling alongside there. There could have been a lot of things going on. And then, I mean, Baldy with the win in the GTC and just nothing but consistent. You can't really ask for anything other than that.
I think
and then I guess the reason, if you really think about it, Alex probably moved off. No, it wasn't Alex. It was Thunderpig who moved off the racing line. Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of people moving off the racing line because others are racing close. They need you to be traffic because that's part of the battle. It's part of it is that you hold your line and they have to get around you. If you're just moving out of the way for them, well, you're taking away that whole aspect of the race, and you're technically. From my point of view, you're affecting the race negatively because it's supposed to be there. That person blocking the track is part of this race. But, I mean, fantastic.
Oh, superb racing up and down through the field. So there is your unofficial results. Rascal winning from Inman, Charles in 3rd, and Law nearly a full minute behind Charles there. So Law had a nightmare couple of last laps there. Rabomba, 5th place there. He was pretty much racing by himself. Goofy dominating as always in the Red Bull class there. Merlin and J-Boy putting on a fantastic battle very late on in the race. Dominguez, 3 wins out of 3 for him.
Over an hour and a half.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. And I think, 30 seconds separating Rascal to Charles. I mean, that might be a lot in motor racing terms, but for a 90-minute race, that's still quite short.
Oh, yeah. Impressive racing.
Yeah. So there's a look
Dominguez.
Dominguez,
taking the win in the GTs. Crow with a great consistent drive right there, taking 2nd in the GTs. Alex getting 3rd, and then Not enough can be said about how well Baldy drove, taking the win in the GTC, with Thunderpig picking up second in the GTC. Like,
yeah,
just so amazing of them. What a race.
Yeah, fantastic race. So there was the unofficial results. We're going to end the stream now because my dog's looking at me on the bed, wanting to go out for walkies, don't you? Don't you, CZ? Huh? He's licking my face. Anyway, so we're going to end the stream right now. So I've been Savvy.
And I've been Jerry. Thanks, guys.
And we'll see you again. I think it's a break, isn't it?
I think it's a break. For me. I don't remember if it's for everybody. I think it is.
Oh, okay. I don't know. But anyways, this has been the ARC ALMS. Don't forget, give this race a like. And if you're new to this channel, give yourself a subscribe. I think we're getting close to like 400 subs, but something like that, eh? I'm with Caesar. Yeah, you're looking at my face again, eh? Yes, you are. Anyway, we're going to end the stream then. So, again, we'll see you again, I think, next week. If not, it'll be 2 weeks.